Yo, 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 what's good, people? What's good, people? It's your boy Jason Gooner. We are back in the studio, people, and it's time for Reasoning Time, episode 20. This is the Gold Cup review show. Where did it go wrong? I will have a special guest joining me on the program today as well, and I'm going to break down from my perspective what I think went wrong with this entire Gold Cup, and we're going to basically include the entire summer period because I think some of the things that would have gone on throughout this summer lend itself to what would have occurred at the Gold Cup as well. All right, people. So make sure you guys are tuned in, locked in. We're going to discuss some things that I've been seeing questions in the comment sections throughout these videos asking certain questions and some things that I would have answered, but I did state during the competition that I didn't want to come out with anything that I was hearing that could have been going on behind the scenes contributing to the issues going on, right? So this is um this is something that I've been waiting to do. I think that it's time, and yeah, we're going to do it today. So people, make sure that you smash a like on the video, share and subscribe as well. um I see a few people checked in from early before the video started. Know yourself in the building. Say big up to you. Know yourself. Hope all is well. Energy 876 say it's only going wrong for the fans. It's not going wrong for the ones profiting. People with low standards and no vision don't think there is a problem. Yes, energy. We're gonna get into all of those conversations today. So yeah, make sure that you guys pay good attention. Do what you always do, which is participate in the comment section, and we will definitely, most definitely include what your thoughts are when we can. All right, people. Now, the way I want to structure the show today, I have basically 5 main points that I think would have contributed to what we saw on the pitch. Now, typically on this channel, that I'd pull up a tactical pad and show you guys what happened tactically, but I do feel like there's a time and a place for those programs, and this is not the one today. Today we're going to focus on just a few things that I think are not helping the situation, right? And there are some obvious ones that people always talk about. You hear the talking points typically. Um, why are certain coaches in the coaching staff? Um, Another one that you might hear is, we're not getting enough quality in the recruited players. Another one you might hear is too many JPL players getting selected. But there's a lot of narratives going around, and I think they all, in their own way, would contribute to, some of the issues. I think, one of the biggest things that I see leveled at Jamaica when people talk about Jamaica and our national team is what is our identity. And I think a part of the reason why we struggle to have identifiable identity basically is we have a lot of different people and a lot of different things and ways that people think is the Jamaican way to play or what could be the Jamaican way to play. And I think it kind of shows itself in the way we select our teams, in the way we play football. um, and I think it's one of the things that is definitely contributing to what I call this stagnant place where we are, where we see a sign every now and again that something might be changing, might be getting better, but there's no consistency. It's extremely inconsistent what we get from the Reggae Boyz right now, and I think some of these things that I'm going to talk about today help to cause this situation, right? So I am going to break down everything, people. Today, as I said, I have a special guest coming in to give their thoughts as well. Somebody that I respect a lot, and I respect what they have to say. And they typically do a pretty good job of giving a synopsis from where they see it. Some of the things that would have been going wrong, or some of the things that maybe we could fix moving forward. And I know at some point today we have to get to that as well, people. Where did it go wrong? But that can't be the end of the conversation. We need to try to figure out how can we get it to go right? So we're gonna definitely close off the show today with some ideas that could potentially help us to get the thing going in the right direction. Because right now we can see that people are definitely worried. D Madre, big up yourself. What's going on, bro? All is well. They are watch West Indies as well, people. But these guys have to stay at the crease for at least another 100, if possible. Bless up Joseph Brown. Hope all is well. One killer, one ground god. All right, let me make sure I've shared this. I think there's one more place I need to share the video. Yes, people, do the right thing, share. Never even know Sir Ryan live. Yeah, just got news that Speed was on the radio today. It would have been good to hear what was going on there to have it as a reference, but that's all right. We're gonna still run the show. People will come back and watch the show at any point. But yeah, we have our talking points, and I will definitely listen to that interview though, because it will be. I'm sure it will be out there, so I will listen to it. Stephen Light, big up yourself. Hope all is well. Yeah, man. Make sure to smash up that like button, please, and thanks. All right, let me get to what I want to get to here. Share. Yeah, people, let me just share this to some folks that I know are in this group in the gram that I've created, because I want people them to know that we are here to give them the full 100, At least what I have come together, the information. Some information I have come together over the past few weeks. And you guys know I don't normally forward out with things unless I have some proper correspondence about it, right? So yeah, man, you guys are gonna hear some things today. So Mr. Man said big up yourself, Mr. Man. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. All right. So yes, people, we are going to bless up Rob. Hope all is well. Bless up Toffee Rudy. How should be packed shortly? Gossip man them on their way. Nah. No gossip thing around here, Rob. Come on, man. Give me a little more credit than that, bro. Life is good. Reggae Boyz disappoint me big time. We need some cleansing from the squad. The coach and players need to hold themselves accountable. True. Yeah, bro. You know my thing. Reggae Boyz chase everyone away, so the house might not be full. LOL. I said the people them give up, then gone, then gone. Nah, man. When the word get out, the content of this, I think it will spread. But people, let me get right into it. So I have some points here that I wrote down just to kind of keep me in line with what I want to talk about. And this is going to be the main, some of the main things that I have come to realize and I've noticed that it's really causing a big problem in the team. So, look, the first thing, right? The first thing I will talk about is the division in the camp. Now, on face value, one would assume that this just means, okay, there's a faction of the local born players and there's a faction of the heritage or overseas born players, right? But that's not really and truly the case. What's really happening right now, people, is I think some of the senior players, and when I say senior players, I mean just by age, typically by age, a little bit more well-traveled, well-versed internationally. They don't quite understand some of the decisions that are being made by the coaching staff in terms of squad selection, in terms of distribution of the minutes, all these things. And it's very evident that because of that, there is somewhat of a division in the camp. And at first I thought that it would definitely stem from what I talked about first, which is just the people's address, like where they come from. But it's not really about that. It's more about some of the senior players that have been in the team for a long time and have been through various cycles with Jamaica at this point, various World Gold Cups and World Cup qualifiers. They pretty much have been down the road and seen all of this play out before, and they at this point don't buy into some of the ways that people end up inside the squads. And I think one of the things that I've always spoken about is, too often when we are selecting these teams, we place a great emphasis on maybe the first 16, 17, 18 players. And there's always some players that are kind of head scratchers for various reasons, right? And I think the longer we do this, the more it's going to cause this division, because there are players out there that we constantly are not calling on, overlooking. We're also overloading certain positions, which doesn't make sense because all these players can't play in one game. So in a sense, you're not only weakening the squad to begin with, but then the way you select the squad and where you have the players in the squad and how much depth you have in each position is also hampering your ability to, put out a proper team during the game. So that division in the camp, right? Basically, it starts to have this, plant this seed in the minds of some players that we're not really putting out our best effort here. And a part of the reasons why I have thought over a long period of time that they don't necessarily like pick all the players at once is because I think they are afraid of mutiny happening, where the players sit down and say, listen, we can't do this anymore, and they just kind of go against whatever the coach and everybody's trying to tell them to do. Now, it's a little bit more difficult to do that if not everybody is thinking the same. So I think they almost try to, like when they say they're balancing the team, it's like they know certain players will just be so happy to be there that they won't really have any pushback to anything that's going on. Right? And so it breeds resentment because they're thinking in their brain, okay, I see a way we could be doing things that probably will work out better for us, but you're trying to convince me that this is a better way. And it's very hard to buy into something if you don't believe in it in the first place. So I feel like that division, because again, there's a faction in the team that I think are just so happy to be there, they will not cause any problem. And I think that's a part of the reason why some coaches like to have them in the team, because he even mentioned it in a press conference that, he wants some of those players to understand, like, if they don't play, I don't have to be like explaining to them so much why they're not playing. It's kind of obvious why you're not playing. You're kind of here as a future or a development or whatever you want to call it, right? And so, but the thing is that their existence there is kind of what breeds the division, because at some point, some of those players are going to play, and when they do, there's a clear difference in how they interpret the game. So Jamaica, in essence, is always going to have this disjointed look about them, because I don't believe that everybody is on the same page, right? And I don't believe that those that are not on the same page as the coach or what the coach is trying to do, they believe basically that, you know, we're not being set up to properly do what we have to do, and they can't really take over because they don't really have the power, because they can't pick the actual team. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult one, and I think that that division just seeds these doubts in the players. Yeah, it sows these doubts in the players, you know. So basically, there are members of the squad, senior members of the squad, that have been at odds with the coach over this entire summer period. And I think you saw it play out. You know, I remember Speed was on the radio during, I think, after the Unity Cup ended, and he did mention that there was a bust up with a senior player. And don't be surprised if that player don't travel to Jamaica. I believe this was between the BVI and the Guatemala game that we played at the stadium. And everybody was speculating who it's going to be. By the time the team got there, the only player that's in the squad was Kyle Ming. So apparently, people, I'm going to move to my next one now. And this is mind games, right? And I call this part of it mind games because I believe that Steve McLaren fed into some of the things that probably would have been fed to him about a certain player, right? And the player in question is Ravel Morrison, right? So apparently, you know, in the Unity Cup, it was okay. It seemed like everything was okay. I even made mention after watching the 2 games at the Unity Cup that it seemed as if Ravel was, you know, really respected. I saw him talking to the coaching staff a lot, talking to the players, you know, just being very involved in everything that was going on, which was surprising to me because based on what we have always heard, he's a disruption in the team. And, you know, you always hear negativity about Ravel Morrison in terms of his, like with his teammates and stuff. But I didn't really get that picture just from seeing it. Now, of course, I am whatever amount of miles away, so I don't know exactly, but I have a pretty good gauge of what's going on just from seeing things on camera. And you know, while I don't have any proof that he's respected or anything, I get that feeling, right? Now, apparently, from what I'm told, there was a bust up in training with Ravel, and it all stemmed from, you know, if you've been a player, you know, sometimes in training you might feel as if a coach is kind of on you just more than everybody else, right? And apparently this particular session, you know, he was really on him, and, you know, having him do extra running and all kind of things. And eventually, you know, he said, hey, what's going on? Like, why? I feel like you're just targeting me at this point. And, you know, that conversation didn't go so well, and it wasn't so jovial, and there was an altercation, basically, not physical, but verbal and, you know, loud and blah, blah, blah. So that's basically what would have been probably reported back. And that's why, you know, I guess the assumption was that that player would have been dealt with in some disciplinary way. Now, the reason why I think it's important to bring this up is because there's been a lot of things that McLaren has done since he's been here that sound like talking points that you hear around the place. And if McLaren, who seems to be a very inclusive coach, because he even mentioned when he goes up in the stands and comes down, he gives them his take from his view up there, and he also basically takes ideas from people, right? So if you look at the immediate people around him inside the JFF, the coaching staff, some of the talking points about Ravel, I'm sure, would have been discussed with him. And I don't know if he thought it was best to test him to see how he responded or what the case was. But eventually, it was deemed to have gone too far. And even players, not Ravel himself, other players also thought it was a bit much, right? So basically, McLaren needs to realize and understand that the buck does stop with him at the end of the day. So if he's gonna make a decision like that, it has to be purely based on what he's thinking. He can't take narratives that he's hearing and make it a part of his whole mindset, of his whole mindset. Because we have heard it as well with how he talks about players. He comes out and says the education is a bit low and they need to improve on that. And things like that take years, 10 years, 15 years, 5 years. But then he comes out and says, some of that stuff is not important. We just need to make sure that we're matching the intensity, and in the Caribbean it's a different style. But those are things that we have heard before McLaren was here. So at some point, these talking points that are out there, he's hearing them, he's processing them. He's being told that, hey, you have to look at it this way as well. And he's almost believing what's going on, and he's acting according to what he's hearing, because you hear the same talking points and narratives. We heard Paul Hall when he was the coach. A lot of people want Paul Hall back, right? A lot of people, when we talk about coaches, he said the same exact thing that McLaren just said in the last press conference, people. The numbers were a little different. Paul Hall said 16 plus 7, and maybe the way Paul Hall framed it was different from how McLaren framed it, but it's still the same numbers: 15, 16, 5, 6, 6, 7. It's the same calculation, the same system. And neither one of them said the word quota. I forget what Paul Hall's word was, but this coach said it's a balance. He wants to find the right balance. But the balance is going to have 15, 16 core players, and then 6 to 7 players that are okay with being benched, or we kind of know they're there for the future, or to learn, or to develop. And what have we always said here, and other channels that I respect, and other places and other people? The football team of Jamaica, the national football team, whether the men's, the women's, is not a development tool. It is not. The football team of Jamaica, Reggae Girls, Reggae Boys, the football teams, plural, they are not a development tool for Jamaica. Please clip that and just send it out and blast it around the place. It's not a development tool for Jamaica. We should not be having players in the team just because we want to develop them. Okay? I can't stress that enough. I can't stress that enough, people. You should not have people in the team just for development. And I think too often that's what we're doing. So the mind games thing, McLaren, Ravel, stupid, ridiculous. I don't know what I would love to find out, like what was the goal or the end game of that, right? And then what doesn't make sense to me is squad composition. So this is like probably number one on the damn list. So let's just go back a little bit. All right, let me make sure that people are liking the video. Let me bless up some people in the comment section as well. Pops in the building, big up Pops. Too many extraneous objectives that have nothing to do with pure football and the interests of the team. Absolutely. JPL players, LOL. Talk the things without fear, man. Yo, but now I go around the thing, man. Big up Jason and everyone. One Ravel. Your father say I move forward. Yeah, man, make them know for like and share the thing. Some man, they are bully too. And I know that works from the perspective of player and coach. Some coaches are compromised, and that's why everybody must go. Absolutely. Everybody was saying it was Ravel. Yeah. It's what happens when you don't pick the best players and try to compromise. The team becomes imbalanced, and with certain players getting carried. Get rid of this clown, Man United failure. Bless up JD in the building, we max it football. I think the coach has lost the dressing room and he'll be fired. Upbeat, let's see how it goes. El Meeks agrees, pure madness going on and it's sad. Big up Jeremy Lee. I listened to Speed this morning and I'm picking up that McLaren is out because they're losing sponsors and money from that Gold Cup crash out. Wow. Big up JG and all in the chat. Yeah, they probably penciled in the quarterfinal prize money at least. They're not going to get that this time. I think Paul Hall uses the word development. Okay, yeah. So I know they never use the word quota though. I thought when Hall said it was different. Hall said it 4 years out from a World Cup, saying that while in World Cup qualifying is madness. Okay, so Rob could live with Paul Hall uttering that because it was time before the actual cycle would have been, you know, it was right at the end of a cycle. I mean, I just feel like you should just pick the best teams every time leading up to the cycle, outside the cycle, in the cycle, out everywhere. Oh, Jason, when the Gold Cup started, I asked why you think Johnson and Hall weren't involved. He stated they had their passports and you had some info. Tyrese Hall and Janera Johnson are also a part of this scenario. That is going to be one of my topics as well. Young Cryptic, yes, and I will speak on it. Yes, today. If you never wanted the player, just don't pick him. Facts. Facts. Would you stick or twist with McLaren? Well, El Mix, look, because I know that the structure is still going to be in place, no matter what coach there is. I don't think firing the coach does much. I mean, I guess if anything, it's a good signal of intent to your players because the players will realize that boy, the man are not a joke and fire the coach, you know, maybe. But other than that, I don't see the positive because again, structurally, but maybe the positive is, you know, these last 6 games are coming up in a 3-month time period. And typically the coaches have sense in the first time they speak. And then once they speak more and more, it's like the sense getting sucked out of them. And then that sounding how they sound in the first press conference. Even though, to be fair, to a lot of fans of Jamaica football, McLaren was sounding like a madman from day one. So I have to give them their credit because I was more saying, okay, let's see, let's give him a chance. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think firing him now is the best move in the world, to be honest. Only if they're planning to like get a manager that they've already had before again. You know, that's the only way. Because I know they're gonna probably search for one and then it will end up being you know, I guess Merrill Garden is on the staff already. And if it's not Merrill Garden, everybody's saying Rudolph Speed now. So I don't think Speed wants to coach the team though, to be honest. I think if he wanted to, he would have been coaching it already or been on the staff already. Blessings, Jagarns. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. We can't afford to fire him. If we fire the coach, we wouldn't be able to hire anyone not based locally. Yeah, I agreed with that, Rob Smith. I don't think we get any international manager if we fire him now. The 60-man pool needs to be revised now. So if we need a replacement, we can find them in the pool. Well, the good thing, Mr. ELM, is that there is no 60-man pool needed for the World Cup qualification roster. You just pick your damn team. So it's not like Gold Cup where you have to take care with the 60-man roster. Because again, I'm looking at this Gold Cup 60-man pool, you know, and you know, there's no Daniel Johnson. We don't have no midfield. There's no Kevin Lambert. We don't have no midfield. There's no Speedy Williams. We don't have no midfield. And people laugh at those names, you know, and say, why are you calling up some of them names? Well, not the Daniel Johnson one, but them laugh at Kevin Lambert and them laugh at Speedy Williams. I don't know why. It's like we're allergic to having a simple, basic. Speedy is more of a screening midfielder, not really a tackler. You know, but he covers zones well and he stays in his position, right? And Kevin Lambert is more of a tackler in the midfield and maybe not the greatest in possession, but still will retain the ball and play simple. But we don't like those type of players. But what we'd rather pick 10 attacking midfielders and force 2 of them to play the defensive midfielder or box-to-box midfield. And then when they can't carry out the duties of that position, we beat the player and say them not good. But it's because we won't pick the players that actually do the functions of that position. We won't pick them. We won't pick them. So my next point is squad composition, people. Squad composition. So are we picking the squads properly? Question mark. Clearly, we're not picking the squads properly. I go back to the Gold Cup roster, the preliminary roster. I've had it sitting here on my desk since that time. And I remember at the time, people were beating me because they said, all I do is point out JPL, 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 JPL. But my argument was this. There's 60 players in the pool. You're going to pick a 26-man squad. Of that 26-man squad, realistically, and I asked the chat on the day, I said, how many names are going to be from the JPL out of 60 names? And people said, I think the highest number we got was 6, right? In a 26-man squad, you know. And they put 24 names on here. I think that's about 12 too many. If you're gonna pick 6, right? If you're gonna pick 6, maximum 6, do you need 24 names to choose from that 6? Another thing that don't make sense to me, we have a deficiency in areas of the field. We have an abundance of attackers. We have an abundance of center backs typically, right? We don't have many 6s. We don't have that many 8s, right? But when you look at the composition of the 24 players selected out of the JPL, there's a center back, right? There's a right back. There's 2 goalkeepers, okay? Shamar Watson is a number 6. So that's one pick that is in a position that we actually kind of need, right? So that's 1. Now, whether Shamar Watson is the 6 or one of the 6s that should be in a 60-man pool for Jamaica is another argument. I'm just pointing out something, right? So that's 1 player in a position that we need. Adrian Reed is another 1, 2, okay? Because it's 24 of them, you know. Sule McCullough plays midfield, so I will add him in this. 3. Tyreek McGee is another attacking midfielder, so I will not add him. Okay? I'm going to keep going. Remember, it's 24 of them picking up. Nikhil Ellis is an attacking midfielder, so I'm not counting him either. People, that's it. That's it. And then try trick quick because Raheem Edwards, striker for Mount Pleasant, listed as a midfielder. Andre Fletcher, winger for Waterhouse, listed as a midfielder. So yeah, they'll even put players with the signification with the position of midfield, right? And they're not midfielders. So I counted of 24 players. What did I just say? We have a shortage in midfield at 6 and 8. And we put 24 JPL players in a squad of 60, knowing that we're only probably going to pick at most 6 of them and maybe about 3, right? In the position that we have a deficiency in our pool of players, we only put 3 players that can play that position in there. Right? We only put 3 players in the actual position that we have a shortage in of the pool of players that play worldwide, whether they're born in Jamaica and get overseas to play professionally, or they're actually born overseas. Right? And I just named out 3 midfielders that didn't make the 60-man pool, and I haven't even called Ravel Morrison's name. Obviously, a more attack-minded midfielder, but clearly, in this stage of his career, looks totally comfortable playing more of an 8 role. Because that's what you see him doing, going and collecting the ball from the defense and building a tempo setter from deep, right? And that's just off the top of my head, 4 players, random players. Now, there were some players that went to the Unity Cup that somehow didn't make this roster. Brandon Cova was selected in the Unity Cup squad. When I asked him in the press conference, why would Cova be there and him can't play in the Gold Cup? He said it was very difficult to get players for this because, 1, he thought he was going to have some of the players that he thought he was going to have, and in the end he couldn't get them. And 2, with it being a FIFA point situation, you know, they were going to have the right amount of subs, and it's classified as, you know, you need all the paperwork like if you were playing a FIFA game to play in these games. So, you know, he was going to think outside the box, maybe get some people in process that don't quite get it yet to just see how them look in the setup, but that couldn't work because of that, right? Remember that point, you know? So they had to draw for players. Now, the reason why I want to stress that point about the whole passport thing, because the next point after the squad composition problem, because I think we where the spaces are there to maybe include and give a player a chance, won't even pick the players in that area to play. We want to still put the players we want to put in there. We want to still put the players that we want to put in there, even if they don't make sense. Right? So before I move on to the next point about misinformation, I want to just talk about this about squad composition with the Gold Cup final roster. And I mentioned this when the squad was actually picked. Right? When the squad was actually picked, you know, I mentioned I was doing a depth chart. And I said, okay. And I said, okay, people, listen this. If we're looking at our left wingers, what's our depth chart on the left wing? At the time, I said Gray, Cephas, Tyrese Campbell, right? That was my, and I said 2 and 3 is debatable, you know. But this was after the Unity Cup where I as well was higher on Cephas and saying, okay, impact, you know. Then when I went to the right-hand side, I said my pecking order would be Leon Bailey, Tyrese Campbell, Kaim Dixon. So I said on both flanks, I haven't called Busy name yet. And the way Jamaica plays, we don't really play with 2 behind a 10. We kind of play with 2, you know, 8/10s and a 6. So in my footballing brain, I'm saying I don't think Busy can play one of those 2 midfield roles. I don't think he can, right? So even when I went to the depth chart of those 2 roles there, Busy was about 4th choice in my brain. So I'm saying to myself, we have a deficiency when I do a depth chart of 6s without Hayden. I start with 2 centre backs there, right? So we don't really plan well enough to have any kind of execution of the game plan that I see the coach having, because even without a 6, he's still playing the same exact way as if he has 4 6s in his squad to use, and we don't even have 1. So that's the big problem. That's the big problem right here. Squad composition is killing us, and until we get that right, it won't work. It won't work. That's why, you know, there have been times in the midfield when I haven't agreed with Joshan Anglin, but at least Joshan Anglin play a role that I know we don't have this big amount of players to choose from that actually can play deeper in midfield. Even though I think Anglin is more of an 8 personally, but you know, I could more say if you're picking players in positions that we need people. Instead, we're picking players in positions that we have an abundance of people, but because we want to put in certain people, we're fighting certain people. It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. All right, so that's my squad composition part of the segment of the show. Now, the next part I want to talk about is misinformation, people. There's a narrative that I hear a lot of times with players, and I call it the no documents narrative. Now, I wanted to stress on just now about the Unity Cup and how it was told to us or sold to us that it was an official FIFA-friendly tournament. Yes, it's outside of the international window, so the points will be a little less, but they do want it to count for points, so they want to adhere to all the rules of a friendly, certain amount of subs, only eligible players that could play a sanctioned game can play, right? So the Unity Cup comes out, and we don't see some players that we thought we would see. Namely, one of the players that we didn't see was Malik Madasil. So Malik Madasil not named in the original squad, but then is named as an addition before the Nigeria game. So in my brain, I'm saying, okay, he's playing, he's called up, he's going to play. I see him run out on the field and play. So based on what I know of the rules of this competition, this player is fully, you know, he has everything that he needs to play for Jamaica because he's on the field in a competition that's, you know, they have told me that they want the FIFA points from. And in order to get the FIFA points, you know, these are some of the things that have to happen. Your players have to be eligible to play, right? So that was the Unity Cup. Now we move to the Gold Cup squad, and it is a 26-man squad. and there's no Malik Madasil. So I reached out and I asked some folks that I happen to know around the federation, and basically I was told that at that time Malik Madasil doesn't have a passport, right? So I immediately asked about the FIFA points and this and that, and they said, well, you know, I didn't really get a clear answer on that part. I guess they didn't realize I was gonna remember the FIFA points thing. I guess I don't know. But anyway, I left it alone, and I decided to do some more research and some more digging, and I was able to actually get photographic proof that the player had a passport and when they got the passport and everything. So my thought is this: when that happened to me, and I was very surprised because I was under the impression that this person would just be forthright with me about things like this. And when I was able to prove that they weren't being forthright with me about it, I then began to wonder of what's the possibility, or how many players in the past have we been told don't have documents and they actually do have their documents? Like, how many times in the past has this happened? Because I've never really been this invested as I am now, because I have a platform now and more people reach out to me with things, and you know, it's just a little different, the amount of information I'm able to gather, right? And so I'm just wondering, over all these years when I've been following Jamaica and hearing that man don't have passport and why is this taking so long, and how many of those people actually had their passport? Because I have one here that somebody is telling me they don't have it. I actually see proof that they have it when they had it, right? And it's not adding up, it's not matching up. So this no documents thing, people, is something that the administration kind of use just to throw you off the scent, you know, where you should really be putting your focus, right? Because obviously it's very hard to speak about a player playing for Jamaica to a lot of fans until they're actually eligible to play for Jamaica. We have seen that before. Many times players will be mentioned. I've seen in the chat people say, what we are talking about that player for? They don't have them papers. Or what we are talking about that player for? We don't even know if he can play for Jamaica yet. Or, you know, so it's something that the fans frown on, like even, you know, talking about eligible players. They don't want to hear about it. But I think that's also driven by this narrative that so many of these players that we're trying to get don't actually want to get the documents, or they're not trying because it takes them so long. But it's not true. It's not true. And I just wonder how many players over the years have had documents and we are just being told they don't have it. How many youth players matriculate to the senior team? And we have a system of play with no continuity or program. All right. I've missed a lot of comments, but let me go to a little closer to what I'm talking to, because I want to hear people's talks on this particular thing. Bless up Africans, hope all is well. How long has a technical director for Jamaica been there? Well, he wasn't a technical director, but when I was playing U23 camp, the technical director now was coaching me that day, or that couple of weeks of training. So he's been around for, bro, you see this? That was a long time ago. See, trust me, and he's still around. And I till to this day don't know what he actually does, like day to day. What happened to him? I know what he's supposed to do, but I don't know if he's doing it. Who knows what happened to him? Before we select any JPL 6, we have players outside of Jamaica that could have been selected. Facts. I see spite and vindictiveness all over the 60-man squad, and that's foolishness. Big man, them I use my business to suit them hurts. Merengard needs to go, but that man is a fixture in the technical staff, and that can't work. And yes, he has all documents. Yep. Unity Cup was Mothersil's vacation, Jason. LOL. Yeah. And that's what I mean about misinformation. It's a no documents narrative. It's a vacation narrative. It's a player not good enough narrative. It's all kind of foolishness. And that's why I say misinformation, because reports from players themselves. And when I say reports, I mean like recorded voice notes of players talking and saying Mothersil in training is like a beast. This man is the future. Them say we have seen a lot of these players come over young like this, but this one is the very best we have seen. That's some of the reports that we're getting on voice notes from players in the camp, people. Players in the camp. But what's the narrative that I'm hearing come out from YouTubers and people who are being fed narratives that me, Jason Gooner, also heard, but didn't come out and tell you guys because I don't believe it? Oh, because he come off a vacation, he was a little bit off the pace. And yeah, in the game, he never really made much of an impact because, you know, he wasn't really up to speed, because he wasn't really sharp. Brother, what are you telling me? So you're telling me the man them recording the voice notes that actually train with on the day with the man, them just a make up story. Them a make up story. Them a make up story. I mean, come on, people. You sometimes have to remove your feelings, right? And just listen what the man them say. Listen what the man them say. First of all, how could ask yourself this? If Mothersil was so bad in training, how the hell him end up on the field? Remember when you tell me, you know, Malik, how will go to the Trinidad friendly them? The one man when I play JPL will come. And them not no game. And they tell me say I'm not train good. Or him can't. No, what I was told was him can't grasp the coach philosophy them. Wow, right? That's what I was told. Then Brandon Cover to the Unity Cup. Don't get one game. Don't get one game. Now, if you go and tell me say Brandon Cover never trained well in training, which I probably still wouldn't believe, at least there's evidence to say that he never trained good in terms of the fact that the coach don't play him. But because we know what we know about this coach, we can't really use that either, right? So I say all of that to say this. Just be careful, people out there that watch all the programs like I do or some others do. I don't really have as much time all the time to watch everything, but when I get the chance, I will support everybody and watch them hear what they must say, right? But some of you people need to understand that when you get told things, please try to back it up with something else, please. Because all these things I'm saying today, you know, is not one person I hear it from, you know. I'll hear it from multiple, and then sometimes I might hear a opposite story, and then I try to find more evidence of the opposition, and then I make my opinion and my judgment, right? But I'm telling you for a fact, people, it's recorded out there that people in the team think that Mothersil is the future and the now. And of all the talent that we have brought in, him look different. Him look like him have something else, something different, something special. And I believe that the coach knows that too. And I believe that the coach was fed some misinformation about his intentions, about him wanting to go on a vacation. And also, I don't know if he was fully aware that he had everything he needed to play. Because if I can hear that, and other people on YouTube can put it out that he's coming from vacation, this is a great point. Vacation, how could it be if he's in England? Where is he taking his vacation? In Burnley? Who the hell vacations there? It don't make any sense. Bro, I'm telling you, Rico, it don't make sense. And it just makes me wonder how many people them are lie about. How many people them lying about? Because I think some of the times, you know, because the players are where they are, you know, they might get the passports first. Now, I wasn't able to tie down this as an actual thing, you know. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it past them to get passports and them have a little passport draw somewhere. And when them ready, them go feed. I wouldn't put it past them, people. I'm telling you, it is very sad. The coach, when asked why mother still not in the Gold Cup, said the player has to go on vacation. Makes no sense, right? Remember, Cataract used to show them up by telling us who had passports and exposing their lies. It's a convenience excuse to exclude who they don't want to call up. Exactly. I thought you meant playing in the Unity Cup was a vacation. Shaking my head. Speed's favorite line is to say that people don't know what they are saying because player X or Y. I'm telling you, that is literally because they can't rationalize it any other way than they can't play. Because if they are eligible, they know the pushback will be too much. You saw it with Ravel not playing in the squad, and they're looking at the midfield and saying, we don't have nothing at midfield. And the petition and the shows and the everything and the press conference asking about Ravel constantly. The man say, yo, put the man in the damn team. Put the man in the team. But we wouldn't start a petition for somebody that don't have that we are told don't have a passport. Jeremy Lee, I'll have a call-in segment. I'm going to run the show past 2 hours more than likely, and I will have a call-in segment, Jeremy. And as a matter of fact, I will, since you asked me first, I will call you when I'm ready. Muffin, shut up. Big up Patrick Cameron. So Muffin is a part of the show today, people. I just say it go. Anytime the grass I get cut, say it go. Trying late. I saw McCallan Burrell in the suite with Ricketts. Insane he was even a consideration. Yeah. Burrell in the suite is it's another thing. Man, them need the TD job description that we're going in at the cabinet at JA for real. And seeing says someone close to the team told him they don't need Mothersill. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, you can know the ones that take the talking points that are spread, you know, and just run with it. And like I said, people, similar to with the squad composition and why they want certain players in the team so that they don't have any pushback to certain madness for them here. Same so that's what's going on in the YouTube space too. Certain man not gonna have no pushback because them think that them people they are God who are tell them what them I tell them. Right? There's only one God. So wait, Jamaica didn't have an assistant coach. Speed said, well, officially, Marian God is the assistant coach. Trevor Sinclair is there, but I don't think that Trevor Sinclair is employed. I think Trevor Sinclair is just there. There's a few people there that's just there. The guy, Dan Neville, is just there. He don't have an official post. Where I hear these voice notes, not on a phone. where you hear voice notes, Rob? I guess the players don't know football, LOL. The coach have a philosophy. That's a good question to Tid. I think the coach philosophy is it looked like him love the 4-1-4-1. Him want him 6 to sit, right? He want to be able to progress the ball through midfield. I don't know how him plan to do that when him have him 2 8s running far away from him 6 every time. And him don't invert players all the time. Him do it sometimes. The best we looked ever was when we were inverting. Anytime we invert, I want to have 2 players in the pivot right there. That's the best we look when we play out. From what I see, but him don't really do it all the time. What's the end game if they don't want to pick the best players? In the case of Mothersill, if the players see it, who is threatened by his presence? Well, again, if the more they're looking at that area of the pitch and they're saying, damn, Dixon is there, that we're already kind of trying to we're trying to tell people that he's there because he's been around and he have international experience. But we pick a player from his team that constantly play and he don't play. So, you know, it's getting harder and harder for them to justify. So if they bring in another player that play in the same league as those two and actually has better output than those two, where does that leave Dixon? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. The structure that they want to have in the team would be threatened by his presence. The coach speaks from both sides of his mouth. That's for sure. Sometimes I don't even know if it's intentional. Maybe he just, he's having trouble keeping up with what he's saying. I don't know. Unseen, aka JPL propaganda machinery. Yeah, man, they just anything where him fed, man, him just run out with it. The coach actually wanted to pick him, Jason. He said it. Yes, he did say it. He did. Why didn't he then? Good question. How about the coach wants him to play for England? Backside. Why? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's a big conspiracy there. I can't put that on the JFF. The coach need to be speaking to players themselves. Rob Smith, I agree 1,000,000% with this. The coach need to take it upon himself to deal with these things, man. The coach don't involve them at all, brother. You deal with them directly. Others might have given him bad info because he said that he's going to select him in PRC. What is PRC? Pre-camp. Okay, maybe pre-camp. Some YouTuber is being paid to sell a narrative. Again, trust me, against certain players. If he came, busy signal couldn't make the team. You know, a man is a girl that when you have a dog named Muffin. Yeah, bro. I'm outnumbered out here. Muffin, I burn out JFF. Every time. Yo, I notice, you know, anytime I do a show like this where I really a blaze of fire, Muffin always loud for real, you know. When I put it down to the grass outside at all. I put it down to something else. Oh, yeah, deal with Muffin, so bro. Muffin, I burn out JFF. Unseen is a big agent, trust me, all because him open for a coaching position. It's not Unseen one, you know. No, not beat down Unseen, but it's not him alone. Speed said the other guy they wanted, it fell apart during contract negotiations. Okay. Marion Garden is the manager and Steve McLaren is the assistant. I know. I mean, how do you have access to players' voice note? There's plenty of ways. There's plenty of ways, Rob. Plenty of ways. Yo, you don't know, BM. I'm not sold on anybody they try to sell us. King, Dixon, Busy, etc. King is a terrible defender. I don't care who vex. Any knowledge of Dejan Sterling being scouted, showing interest? Yes, scouted, showing interest. All those things I have heard, yes, but he's actually injured, and I don't think that September will be long enough, honestly. But we shall see. Big up Swamptivity. Carefully next swamp, you know. Bless up Odello, hope all is well. Bless up Max City. They don't tablet an assistant coach. So they don't have tablet and or assistant coach per speed. Jaja. Sorry, I don't put any of that on Dixon. Dixon has already been sold. The coach just likes Dixon. That's it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. The coach will have him people that him like more. That is true. The coach is just the English version of Joe Biden. Bro, I actually said that. I said it's Biden-esque one time, you know, how I'm moving, you know. That's true, man. It's real. It's a real thing. Big up Jay anyway, that sports. Hope all is well. Yeah, man. Big up. King can defend. Hopefully he'll improve going to Europe. Yeah, man. Hopefully he can improve. That is true. Press conference. Okay, at the press conference. Got you. Yeah. No, me did right, you know. They're basically lying to the coach and the lazy moron that he is. He buys everything. Jano, listen, let's all in the chat stop playing hypothetical. We know why they didn't pick him. It's because they want to bring Busy in midfield. Simple. King a come back at JPL. Him no good. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't find out our coach not even a tablet. Yeah, Odello, the man them say me not beat the coach hard enough in my questions, but then I ask them, but people, when don't like to get information when a question is asked. You know, see the question I'm asked elicit all this good information, brother. Come on, man, have some respect. Yeah, always be the coach's job. Man walk past King and kill Blake, yeah. Hit the like button, chat. Don't be like bad mind boss in the chat. Yeah, man. Tell them to smash the like button, man. Bless up Stets. Nobody now beat King for make the man walk past him yet. They're killing Pinnock and Palmer. Well, you know them going to that, people. We're not equal with the justice, you know. Rob Smith always say we're not equal, you know. I think I'm one of the more equal people, you know. But even me, him say we're not equal, boy. Rough. But the JFF force ways to control. That is when Lee's situation and it was Roy Simpson caused the problem. Exactly. That's the next one we're going to get to know. And that's my last topic, you know. And Who did bring it up? Who did bring it up? I think it wasn't Know Yourself. Somebody did bring up the Tyrese and Gennaro Johnson, and that's my last one I'm going to talk about before I move on to something else in the show. All right. Rico Dan, me did say it, man. Me did say it already, man, before. Me say I do some Biden-esque things, you know. Blessings, JG. I don't understand how a coach has better players than the other teams, but play the worst football. All the coaching staff should go. That's another thing, you know, man. We need to realize that the other team them have some rotted player too, you know. He called the show trying to cuss the club. Paul Simpson should have been the senior assistant, but he's a part of the USA system now. Okay, so Paul Simpson gone to them. Wow, because I saw somebody post that, you know, Demo post that on the radio. Him say the man get taken to USA. But the thing was, you know, I just looked at the USA coaching staff for the Gold Cup 2025 USMNT, and I don't see any sign of him. But I guess it's possible that he could have been added, and it's just not there, you know. That is very possible as well. But I looked on I'm a member of the US Soccer Federation. And I went on there and I see my hello Jason message, and I looked at the staff and I didn't see Paul Simpson, but I guess I don't know. I'll look very intently on the bench in the next USA game. Do we really have better players? Yeah, it's a conversation, you know. It's a conversation that do we really have better players than these teams? Do we really? I think it's time for us to call the YouTubers who is on JFF payroll are doing things to access training session and free pass to games. Jano, where say we've called them out, Jermaine? Rough. Depending on what stream you're watching, some now beat Palm and Pinnock and beat King. What's the role of Sinclair and the other white coaches on the team? Well, they're a support staff, I would think, but you know, they're not really. I don't know how much power they yield, like in the actual decision making. Did you address the senior players' alleged issues? Somewhat. The senior players' issues all stem from the squad selection, the squad composition, decision making in you know, starters and all of those things. That's what I think the division comes from in the camp. Just decision making being like head scratching and them not buying into what's going on, you know. All right, so the last one, people. This one is probably gonna get the most pushback, I would think, because it is some things that I heard, and if this is the way we're doing things with these younger players, it makes perfect sense why a lot of them, you know, you don't actually see them turn up when it's all said and done. And that's a part of the reason why I hear a lot of people saying right now, you know, there's 6 to 7 to 8 Premier League level players that are doing their documents for the September window. And I will always say, whatever number you're hearing thrown around, cut it in half. Because at least 3 of them will have to deal with some bullcrap behind the scenes that prevent them from getting here. So, Tyrese Hall, and to a lesser extent, Gennaro Johnson, but I'm going to speak to Tyrese Hall specifically because Tyrese Hall is a player. Obviously, if you're not familiar, he is in the Tottenham Hotspur setup, right? He's a U21 player for Tottenham Hotspur. He plays central midfield, can play any level of the midfield, the 8, the 6. You know, he can play both of those positions typically. Very, very highly respected player for his age group. In PL2 last year, he was one of the standout players for them. He has made some appearances up to this year in March for the England U19s, right? Which was his first bow into the England setup at the international level. But he's one of the names that would have been on a list that we saw circulating that John Wall was kind of recruiting and talking to way back when we were going to play the U20s last year, or I think it might have been 2 years ago now, 2023. But yeah, he's only 19 years of age, so a young player, right? Maybe not the immediate answer, but as I said before, people in that midfield area, a space to me that requires major surgery, some serious outside the box thinking needs to happen for us to get some solutions, right? So for me, Tyrese Hall and Janiro Johnson are two players that I would be highlighting right now. They're both, I think Janiro is 18, Tyrese is 19. Janiro to me looks like more the long term. He might be a centre back, but he also can play CDM as well, plays that for his club at time. And he's also represented the Netherlands at the U18 level and U19 level, sorry. So these are both international players playing youth football at the international level, but clearly their future looks very bright. Now, Tyrese Hall, from my understanding, has all the paperwork needed to play for Jamaica. Citizenship, passport, everything. Was willing to play in the Unity Cup. Now, the way it was explained to me is that the JFF sent some paperwork to, because obviously these players, especially when they're this young, most of the stuff and the correspondence goes straight to the agents, right? So the agent is sent a document, and it's a document that basically is, it says that it wants the player, because I didn't see the document, right? But I got basically the gist of what the document would have said and what they wanted it for. So they have been burned in the past in their mind by young English players that pledge their allegiance to us, come and play, and then they don't come back. Or they say they want to play, put the name on the list, they don't come for whatever reason that they sell us, right? Because sometimes what they sell is not even what happened. But anyway, Tyrese Hall agent gets the document and immediately reaches out to Tyrese and his family. And basically the document is saying that, look, they just want a pledge to say that there'll be no, they pledge their future to Jamaica and they will never, switch back to any other country to represent another country. Now, at face value, that seems like, okay, why wouldn't they sign that? They want to play for Jamaica, right? But at the same time, you have to remember that these players are young, right? And if you have everything available for them to play for you right now, why are you now adding another step for them to take? What's the benefit of you locking them in contractually? Wouldn't the better step to take be, we're going to put you in the team, we're going to call you, we're going to show you the setup, right? We cannot act like, we cannot control their life. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know the JFF structurally yet. They have never been to a camp. They don't know anything about what maybe they have heard from players they might know or whatever the case is, right? So why are we adding steps to an already difficult process? Yet everybody tells us, the paperwork is difficult, and especially if it's a grandparent and then pass. And so if they have taken all the time that you guys have told us, it's a very rigorous process, because you want us to not rush people in. You don't want us to put the fire under you and say, where is the paperwork that the people have applied for, right? But even after they would have everything in hand, you guys still put up roadblocks to them playing. It doesn't make sense. Why are we adding documentation that's not actually needed for them to play? Because you are insecure about how you will make them feel when they come into the team. So you want to make sure no matter how bad we treat them, they will come back. What sense that make? Build a relationship with them over time. And if you do the right things and treat them the right way and be straight up with them when you talk to them, maybe you will get better results down the line. And maybe players won't come and say, oh, that's the last blowout time I go there. I'm not going back. You see what I'm saying, people? The players are ready to play. The players are ready to play. They have everything they need. And we are adding a step into the situation to try to force them to not consider playing for anywhere else after them come to this one camp. Okay, he isn't listed. So USA pulling a Jamaica, not listing the staff. Channel. We only have better players than some of the other teams. So let me see what the comments saying, because to me, this is a madness, you know? This is a madness. And people, I'm telling you, the man who, for the most part, whenever the JFF is involved in recruitment, or not in recruitment, but involved in the paperwork, the former general manager, who is now the acting GenSec, he's probably the one dealing with, not even probably, he's the one dealing with the paperwork and stuff like that, right? So anytime a player has any issue in any of this stuff, the thing can fall right at his doorstep. Remember, you know, people, Roy Simpson is the only person in the JFF, you know, that has ever come out publicly and spoken about Greenwood, you know, in terms of his processing and what's going on, you know. So that should tell you, you know, he's privy to all of those things, right? So whenever there's issues, whenever somebody passport taking 50 years, we always try to get speed pan shows and this one pan shows. Roy Simpson is the man to speak to people. Him would have the information. Now, will he give you the information straight up? I couldn't tell you that. But that's where the answers will come from. And that's why I've told the coach himself in this show today, if you want players to be recruited the proper way, you have to do it yourself. Get more involved in the process, right? So that they can just feed you information. And those who help to recruit on the side, you guys do it without anybody's help. And you take the players to the coach when them have them papers in hand. Nobody tell them. I mean, I know that's kind of counterproductive because you want the coach to know about them before, to be thinking and watching them and scouting them. But at this point, don't bother telling. It's palpable that the organization is the issue. Big issue. More support for Steve. We have to hold the manager accountable along with JFF. And if Jamaica didn't qualify, head should roll. You know my stance. Some man now beat JPL player no matter. Some man now beat players from UK no matter what. People have to learn to split justice. Jason Speed almost repeated the issues you've talked on. So I guess that you're correct before even finishing the stream. The issues in camp, that is. Yeah. I'm telling you that it all stems from the decisions of the coach and what they're doing. And he's here pandering to a set of people, not knowing that him pandering to them is actually affecting and fracturing his team. And I don't know how he can see that. Cranky faith strong. I don't believe most of those players will end up coming. Yeah, I told it, and in fact, that's exactly who I said it to in his chat. I said, Cranky, if you think it's 7 or 8, it will be more like 3 or 2. Because they won't all get over the line for whatever reason or the other. All of them will not be chosen quota at its best. He don't know the region, so he can't play. Madness. No, I said Sinclair and the other white coaches. Okay, so it wasn't counting Sinclair. Madasil and Campbell didn't get game. What difference it gonna make with the rest? Same old. I tell you, if we introduce 8 players in World Cup qualifying window, we're not going nowhere. Seeing this time and time again, but I know I'm the minority for this. 69 watching and 12 likes. No, man, touch up the like button. No, 2 things wrong. The number that you say can't be the number there right now, and the likes cannot be that low. The page have to refresh. All right, 63 likes, people. That's still not good enough, man. Get me to the 100 likes quick and fast, people. Quick and fast, people. Get me to the 100 likes quick and fast. We're at 66 likes now, man. Touch up the like button. Touch up the like button. Better players with this coach is a waste of time. Grimmy laps McLaren, and it's not even close. Speed saying we don't sell CDM and there are no CDM to pick from. This man needs to go. We would sell CDM if we give them a chance, because that's where we have the deficiency right now. We have scoured the globe for CDM and can't find one. And the others we find them say them too young, inexperienced, and them include paperwork that's not required by FIFA to make players play. there might be even more division if 8 come in at once. Team chemistry and camaraderie are above all else. Our coach and coaching staff is our biggest problems, okay? They have not stamped their feet down on all these players, okay? All right. So Donovan said it's not the players so much as the coach and the staff. They sound like a jealous girlfriend. Yeah, man, them get burned, man. Them get burned. They might try put in contingency plan, but that's the nature of international football, people. Put your best foot forward, show them a plan, show them a strategy, show them that you know you mean business, and they won't think twice. I mean, they all say they love coming to camp because of the players. None of them don't say they love coming to camp because they have to deal with the foolishness and the politics. It's the players and the vibes of their teammates and representing something that, you know, can make a real difference for people. That's why they come, you know. Bless up float. JFF sound toxic and insecure, bro. No confidence or a swag. One name swag. A strong arm the man them. These people are strange. Bro, I'm telling you, it's madness. Yeah, they want to frustrate them, make it more difficult. You can't invite a man to your dirty house and you get him to stay. So if you want him to stay, you must add chains. Oh, God. Rob Smith, how about clean your blood clot house? Why can't that be the answer? Clean the damn house. Clean the damn house, man. Facts, Jason. I can see Campbell not coming back. Jason, in hindsight, I think we should have used the UK Prem and Championship players for World Cup qualifiers and then send them off of their vacation to reset for rest recovery and to sort out any career changes. Okay, so Signal say don't overdo it. All right, fair. We did actually talk about that before, you know, is 3 competitions too much and which one would you leave out? And I always said because the Gold Cup is like a time frame to really gel, I would want the best team to be there personally, you know. But I understand the resting. I understand that. I'm sure Tyrese Campbell regret signing that paper now that he can't switch back. Well, Odello, that's the thing. Did Tyrese sign any paper like that? I don't know. I don't know. Because remember, you know, I believe because of the profile, you know, because remember, you know, Tyrese kind of coming from the mud, you know, in terms of Jamaica English football, you know. It's not like him is no big done in youth football in England or nothing like that, you know. But the status of Gennaro, the status of Omari when he came, the status of Tyrese is a different level in terms of the status and what they've done in football and what they're perceived to be able to do. Now, this season will change things for Tyrese Campbell. You know, he was a big part of a League One team getting to the championship. And from what I'm hearing, teams already in the championship at a better, you know, level than Charlton are interested in the player. So his profile is rising. But I think those players are, you know, I think the powers or the JFF themselves, they probably see those players as having the potential to go back, you know, because of, you know, how they're looked at in their you know, current international setups where they live, you know. Every time these prove that they wanted to play, something else added. Wow, yeah. Them add everything. JFF knows they have no intention of evolving and becoming a modern and professional organization. So they want commitment from players without guaranteeing the same on their end. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. We're acting like a club, say fatal. Yeah, but they've said no release clause, you know, no transfer clause. Rice Simpson is no better than Speed. They're all the same. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've spoken to Speed on a few occasions. I've never spoken to Rice Simpson before. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's not looking good. It's like they all have the same objectives, you know. And the thing is, they have been in it in a while, so they kind of have some very creative ways to kind of make it hard to pin down things to them. But you know, little do they know that, I mean, people out there are gonna speak their truth, you know. So I don't necessarily have to hear the truth that you want to give me. I can go and seek the truth from people that were involved. You know what I'm saying? Al Grimson tried and they never wanted to pay him back his money. LOL. It's clear that they don't want these players. And the thing is, you know, You have to remember, you know, especially these younger players, you know, Tyrese Hall is what, 19? The agent dealing with the thing. So who you think? You think the agent called Tyrese directly and tell him, no, Tyrese agent gonna deal with his parents, his father, his mother. So you piss off the man father now, or mother now, or whoever you decide to piss off with your foolishness. The player, the player, the player can even still follow JFF like everybody posts we play for Jamaica. And all of us here thinking, so what's the problem? What's the problem? Not knowing that the man piss off the man father a long time, and that's why he's not coming. You know what I'm saying? So they don't, you will never hear that. All you will hear, all you will see people is Tyrese Hall, him get called for under 19 in March. The next unders roll around and Tyrese Hall in the team, you're going to hear them run out and say, another player uses the Gold Cup preliminary roster to better their chances for their country, England. Like, what are you people smoking? I don't want it. I don't want that what on smoke. I'm kind of happy this happened now. Mr. Speed needs to go. How many bad hires has he been connected to? The question is who to replace the coach. Boy, that's the thing. You can't replace the coach and don't replace the people that are responsible for getting the coach. They're just going to do similar things again. When is the meeting between McLaren and Speed? I would think it would happen today because them just traveled back yesterday. So, well, that's the thing. Did Speed even travel to Jamaica or did he travel straight to England? I don't know. Is it true that assistant that came in the other day is now with the USA national team? I'm hearing that in the comment section, but I don't have any proof of that, like written or anything. Jason, the only reason they might close them eyes to the current issues and come is because for most players, their dream is to play in the World Cup. So I think they will come. So Odell said them still hanging on to the hope, you know, that the World Cup is the end goal, so they'll still do it. Easy to find out which players have Jamaica passport, says Jermaine. Yeah, man, that's a true statement. I don't beg like them. I mean, I would like them, but I don't really beg for them like them. Maybe trapping them is the only way, since we aren't skilled enough to communicate and build relationships that will entice them to come and here and stick around. Not in our DNA to make anything easy. But yeah, I had one. That's the thing, you know. You can have a woman, right? And she don't want you no more. But you put, I don't know, you figure out some way for blackmail her for stay. At the end of the day, you know, she's just there. She don't love you no more. She not trying to make it work no more. She's just there. She just stuck. And that's basically what they're gonna do to the people. You know what I'm saying? All right, so the people I'm gonna ask for the call lead. So when we go to people, I'm gonna call Jeremy Lee first because he asked, since somebody else asking for it, I have pretty much laid out my things. So squad composition, camp division, misinformation, mind games, you know, the coach and Ravel, and the Tyrese Hall, and by extension, Gennaro as well got tied up in that whole fiasco as well. So that to me is, you know, just 5 things that I was able to, you know, find out over time. And I just feel like those things definitely contributing to what we're seeing on the pitch. Now, of course, there's a tactical breakdown that we could be doing as well, which one day will come. I will actually look at tactically why we're so inept on the pitch right now. But I thought that these things that kind of, you know, they're just behind the scenes. They're underneath the surface. They're beneath the surface. Something that required a little more digging, a little more patience to try to gather the information. I wanted to kind of set it out this way. But people, I am going to open up the phone line right now. My guest should be somewhere around pretty soon. But let me just make a one call because this person did ask about the calling. So I'm going to call them. Hopefully they're still listening or still tuned in. So let me see. Should have a number for them. There they go. Let me know if the audio is good. It should be. And that's the calling number, people, if you don't want to call in. Right. So I tried Jeremy Lee to call you. So anybody else that would like to call in, Elric Cross, see asking, there's the number if you want to call. If I'm Tyrese Campbell, I wouldn't return. Steve McLaren is an idiot. Why bring the player to the Gold Cup and not even give him a minute? Something is wrong. This man said change the players. Yeah, bro. Instead of clean the house, the man said let's change up the player them to the heat of them, and and then when it's ball game time, just unchain them and chain them to each other so them go to field. Is Hayden coming back for the World Cup qualifiers? Richard Green, to my knowledge, he should be back by then, yes. I didn't touch that topic, because I wasn't able to get enough information to feel comfortable coming out with anything. But just know that one thing I can tell you, the whole virus and them something there, belly issue, I don't think that had anything to do with anything, to be honest. I don't know who came up with that one, but yeah, I wasn't buying that one. I'm sorry. Jay should already have all the players needed for the final round. All the coach talked about is recruitment. Also let the actual players feel they're not good enough. Well, I mean, look, the conversation needs to be had. Maybe they're not good enough. All right, people, look, since nobody now calling, I have someone here that I believe will have quite a bit to say about all that has been going on in the program. It's somebody that I respect very much because, he's a big part of the reason why I'm even here on earth. So people, no further ado, let me introduce to you somebody who doesn't need introduction, actually. My father, Michael Hall, in the building. What's up, Pops?
Greetings, my son. Everything good, man. Everything good. And greetings to everyone in chat as well. Yeah, man, I've been following you since the first yo. So I've been seeing the comments and I've been, as you say, I've been commenting a few times myself. More in jest than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But look, you see how my beard gray and you see how my locks long. That I'm afraid to say what I want to say about anything to do with Jamaica football. As you will know, and maybe some people in the chat will know, I feel I had a big role to play in the 98 qualification in my role at SDF.
I didn't know you from New Dread, man.
Yeah, it looks so. Bless up, Zebeth. Yeah, man. So, I am free to speak my mind. I'm not suggesting that you do, but of course you're in the business now and you need to kind of be careful how you speak because you don't want to alienate your sources of information, etc., etc. So, look, Jamaica football is at a crossroads right now. We have two issues facing us. One is future.
Hold on, Dad. I think the internet will move away. All right, hold on, Dad. I'm gonna remove you. And then just jump off. All right, yeah.
That's as I said a while ago. That is a debate. That's something that can be debated. But and that's the immediate one. The future one is how do we avoid doing the same rusting every 4 years when we're trying to qualify for the World Cup as we have been doing since '98. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Obviously there are things that we can. What is our identity, right? I made some notes, at the national team level, we need to identify, cultivate, and select only the kind of players who fit into our national identity, right? At the youth level, we have to become a national curriculum, right? That says we develop players who are prepared in their mind and in their skill level to wear the national colors and wear the pride. I find that too many guys that play for Jamaica now, they don't have the pride. Jason, come on, man. As a youth in 1998, around the qualification time, you could see that a woman that put on the shirt in that time, would walk through gunshot. I don't get that sense when people are playing for Jamaica right now. I definitely do not. Maybe they do. I just don't see it. I don't feel it. As far as all the good players that we have, and these players are the best thing since sliced bread and the best group we have ever assembled, I disagree totally. Some of the guys that we have are may have at one point in time, maybe a couple of years ago, been when they were at the peak of their powers, would have been welcome additions. But I think that guys have come to our national setup a little bit late in the day. I think Antonio is not the answer. I don't care what he has done in the past, because we're not trying to qualify for the World Cup in the past, we're trying to qualify right next year. I think it's obvious that Pinnock has lost a step. I think I've heard you say, well, you certainly said it to me, I don't know if you have said it on the program, you must have, that he was on the bench for the last 12 games of the season for Brentford. That says something, because he was so highly, right? And you see it in the play. He's making a lot of errors. He looks out of step. We are woefully inadequate at the wing-back position. None of these guys, whether it's Greg Lee, Amari Bell, Dexter Lembikisa, none of them play the position properly. They are constantly ball watching when the ball's on the other side of the field, and then they kind of sort of drift inside. And you notice anytime our opponent plays the ball from one side to the other, the man who receives the pass has nobody within 15 yards of him. Every single game that we have lost and every single goal that we have conceded has come from poor marking of their wide players. And I mean, I don't know if somebody told Richard King that he's the next coming of Beckenbauer or whatever. He's not as good as people think he is. And there's a reason why the only club that signed him was St. Mirren. Okay? And I think he may very well get exposed there. You have to put your foot in when you start playing in these leagues, right? And he's not a tackler. He's not a tackler. I think I don't even want to talk about the middle of the park, because you said it succinctly earlier in the chat. We have no steel in the middle of the field. I was very encouraged by Isaac Hayden in the game that he played against Guatemala at the stadium. But I tell you something, whatever positives we took from that game, we need to be very careful about how much we embrace those positives. Because the Guatemala team that played against us in that game at the stadium, as we saw, was totally different to the team that played us in the Gold Cup. And the one that played us in the stadium did not attack us. They did not press us. They were not. And that's why Hayden looked as good as he did. He had time. He was very comfortable. And he may very well be the answer, But let's not get carried away. And we saw what his absence meant to us in this tournament. We were lost. We were lost right there. Damian Lowe cannot play there. And as far as I'm concerned, he ought not be playing at all.
Done with him.
He's technically weak. He's technically weak and tactically naive. Latibodir is slow. If Latibodir was to run a 100-meter race, you could time him with a sundial. You don't need no stopwatch. Right? Up front, Jason, up front. These guys are big players in name only. I'm not getting what we ought to be getting from players of the stature, certainly name-wise, and what they have done for their clubs in their career. Neither of them are giving me anything. I'm speaking about Gray and they are both too predictable. They don't give me anything defensively if they're playing out wide. And their decision-making is terrible. They do the same thing every time. There's no element of surprise. When they're to dribble, they pass or shoot. When they're to shoot, they pass or. It is why I tell you something. The guys that I have seen, I haven't seen I didn't really notice. Is it Mothersill that was playing in the Unity Cup? I didn't really know him, and I'll be honest, I haven't really done the research that you do about Campbell and so on. But what I will tell you is this: the other guy that they brought in, who played in the Unity Cup and actually scored a goal, right, in one of the games.
Borrell,
Borrell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But these people are not ready, Jason. I mean, he might as well be Captain Borrell. God rest his soul. This guy is just not ready. Okay? And I want to say loud and clear right now as well, neither Warner Brown nor Kaheem Dixon are ready to play football at this level. Neither of them. They are still learning the game. They are still babies in football. Look, you know, there are certain things that strikers must do in terms of how you make your runs when you don't have the ball. You know, you can't just run in a straight line. You have to make some diagonal runs. You have to maybe drop your shoulder, as run right, and then turn and run left, and all of that. And in order for that to be meaningful, you must have some kind of rapport with your 10 or your 8. Don't have that, because quite frankly, I'm not sure we have a 10 or an 8 with whom he can build some rapport. So I've said this. I hope it's not, but I will just leave this with this warning and say that anybody who think, including a lot of people in the YouTube space, who think we're gone clear. Look what the group where we get Trinidad, Curacao, Bermuda. They are wrong. There is no such thing as an easy World Cup qualification group. You think it's only we alone in the group who are going to the World Cup?
For real,
Reggie, I can tell you something. Curacao, maybe nobody knows the name of the players who play for Curacao. Maybe they don't know the names. You know, it don't roll off the tongue like Leon Bailey and Damari Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them grow up playing football in the Netherlands.
That's right.
What does that mean? It means that from they are 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, they are technically sound, because trust me, you know, football in the Netherlands is an industry. That's why people who are based locally in the Netherlands, and have heritage in Curacao or where Suriname or wherever else they may have heritage, are excellent retrievals for those countries. Mm-hmm. It's not the same for the guys who play in the UK. And I'll tell you why I say that. You think it's a coincidence that England don't win a World Cup since 1966? It's not a coincidence, you know. They do not know how to develop players the way they do on the continent. Jamaica has hired an English coach, and England has hired a German coach. What does that tell you? If English,
so let me ask you
which English coach? Yeah, go ahead.
So you just go through the whole team, and basically nobody no good. So where the players may come from? Who may be on the team?
Look, there's another element to this, okay? Because a team is not just the players only. A team is the coaching staff as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right? In my view, based on the things that you have said and the things that I have heard about discontent in the dressing room, and, you know, some players are saying, you guys not picking the right people. If this coach, I don't think now is the right time to fire a coach. I don't think now is the time. It's just too close.
Yeah, I agree. I said the same thing.
As Rick done with a comment there, they've been doing a lot better in the last 5 years. Yeah, that may be so, but they still haven't won anything. Anyway, I'm not talking about that. If Steve McLaren cannot regain control, if that's assuming he had any in the first place of the dressing room, then I think it's going to take a miracle going to take a miracle for Jamaica to qualify. Because a team that is not united in achieving a common goal will not achieve anything. But guess what, Jay? Guess what? As you know, I work in sports administration, right? And have done so for more than the last quarter century of my life. One of the problems with our football effort, and perhaps the biggest problem, is the administration of football in Jamaica. How is it that you see communication, you see organizational communication is a hell of a thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I am the tournament director for the Caribbean Premier League. You think I can go on a radio program or a television program without understanding what the communication and messaging of the organization is for this particular season? I cannot do that. But you have people, you have Rudolph Speed appearing on everybody's YouTube channel and going on, and it is what caused a lot of confusion, because believe you me, no, it's not just fans like me and you listening to me now. Players listen.
Mm-hmm. Players' families,
sponsors listen, and when the cascade is there, it's a problem. The JFF needs to get their house in order. But guess what, Jay? I might as well be, me or you or anybody who says that, might as well forget it. The way the federation is the constitution of it. Jason, you know, when there was a challenge to Ricketts the other time, you know, I was involved with the other side. I got information, I was talking, etc., etc. But the truth is that the thing is so entrenched and the constitution is so poorly put together, right? That these guys don't have to listen to anybody. They don't have to listen to any criticism. Once they can curry favor with the parish presidents and the leaders of the other things, then nothing will happen. Nothing will change. My fear, it's a fear. I have a fear, and I have something that I'm grateful for. My fear is that because we are, it's like we're spinning top in mud. Then that I will never, certainly. I mean, I don't have too much longer to live. I don't think. I hope so, but I don't think so. Certainly less than you, if the universe goes according to plan. I'm not going to see Jamaica in another World Cup. So I'm blessed and highly favored to have actually seen it. And for those who were too young then, or even maybe some persons in your chat who weren't even born then, because a long time ago, it's 27 years ago.
For real.
Who haven't seen it, I feel sorry for them. But listen, I've said more than enough. As you can see, I still have on my jersey. I mean, Jamaica forever. But it really is disheartening, especially for someone who was integrally involved in the effort to get us there in '98 and felt the unity and saw the unity and worked with a federal. Say what you want about Captain Borrell. He was in charge. And when him talk, no dog, no bark. There were, in other words, the federation had laser-like focus, and everyone in there was working. I think there are way too many agendas in the JFF now, and you never know. You don't know how many Brutuses are in that organization.
It's clear to me now that I have a little more knowledge of how it's run and who's in there and the players and it's everyone in there knows that the leader is easy. I mean, he's just there. So, like you said, when Borrell was there, nobody around him would dare try to overthrow him or, have something going on, politicizing him and know about, or that wasn't happening. And you're right. It lends itself to poor communication from the top brass, because this man have way more to say, and then this other side have what they want to say, but they all somehow work for the same people, or they work in the same entity. And like you said, the messaging is so important, because what if somebody doesn't see this program today and they decide to watch someone else's program that they're getting their info
Who is
from
carrying a narrative? Who is carrying a narrative that has been fed to them?
And that's what ends up happening on all these platforms. And that's one of the reasons why people say, Jay, you know football, you watch Arsenal, you watch all kind of things. Why you want to make them content here? I'm saying, you know why? Because there aren't enough voices that I think are actually looking at it from the perspective that I would look at it. And my voice would be necessary inside the space. That's why I do it, you know. That's why I do it. Because I don't think that people...
So listen,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I understand that world football and I kind of switching lanes a little bit. I just talking about world football, how teams were gathered at the time, what the demands were on players. It was totally different then, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the stars were aligned. It was the right time. We had the right motivational coach and charismatic coach and so on, and a strong leader who expressed the vision of the federation powerfully. Everything just came into being. I was, you know, the SDF was one of the biggest contributors.
Yes,
to the football program, as you know.
Everything. So it's kind of funny.
Okay, so I was the first general manager of the Sports Development Foundation, which was a new organization at the time, right? And our role was to develop the nation through sport, and that was done by providing contribution to the national sporting bodies in Jamaica, as well as building sports infrastructure in every parish around the island. And we, as an organization, pretty much kept that program going through funding until after we qualified. We weren't needed as much because that's how corporate Jamaica works. Once we qualified for the World Cup, then money started pouring in, right? Nobody wants to support development, but everybody wants to support a winner or something where they're going to get the most exposure.
Short-sighted
corporate works. But I sat in on many late night closed door meetings where critical things were discussed around which hinged the failure or success of the program. So while I may not have been, you know, coaching the team or doing anything like that, I believe that I played a critical role in our getting to France. I could tell some stories. I actually went to a couple of qualifying games during the campaign. I could tell some stories that would boggle the mind, but I don't want to. I don't want to put anybody in jeopardy. Well, look, maybe in a different form.
Every time you have ever come here, the chat just loves to have you here. So maybe one of these days, you know, we're going to actually have a sit down and a actual, like, I'm going to actually interview you. I'm going to actually do that one day. I'm going to ask you about some of those experiences from SDF and all of that stuff and your time with West Indies cricket. And I think it would be a good show. So one day, people, we're going to draw him out and we're going to hear all some good stories. But today is not the day for that. But yeah, look. Go ahead.
Well, no, one thing I'm saying, make sure you write down some good Ross question, right?
Good. Well, it don't fall far from the tree. So you know that's a given. That will be there. That will be there. So let me see.
All right, my son. Listen, I do have a job. I do have a job that is calling me. So I go and cut out from the StreamYard thing. But bless up to you and bless up to the chat. We will talk.
All right, Dad. Respect. Thanks for dropping some thoughts, and yeah, man, people, and bless up, Dad. And yeah, little more. All right, people. So that was the one and only my pops, Michael Hall. Never short for words and typically on point. as always. But yeah, holds no punches. You know, I think this is really and truly who JD wants me to sound like on YouTube, like just like that, you know. So I have a different style. Maybe you know, I came from two individuals. You know, I have a mother and a father. So maybe you guys need to see my mother, who would never forward onto a stream. But if anyone knows my mother, you know, I'm a balance. Like, I'm way more like my father, I think. But I know that certain ways that I reason, I think honestly, I've been told that I have a lot of patience for people that I might have differing views with. And I've definitely gotten that from my mother. Ain't no question about it. But also people, I'm gone, but it is actually my parents' anniversary today. So big them up. Damn. It's what, 44 years, people? 44 years of marriage, people. So yeah, man, if any of you in the chat married, that's something we can all aspire to. 44 years of marriage, that is rough. Adrian, we're gonna make it? Are we gonna make it, baby? 44 years. You don't sound so confident out there. All right, yeah, we have some more years to go, people, but we're gonna try to get there. All right, looks like I'm getting a call. So let me take this one. I will stay on a little bit longer just to take some calls because so how come this isn't coming through here though? I'm gonna call you back, whoever this is. And I want this to come through. Yo, that sound like the whole time button there. Oh, hang up, Rico. Call. Man, now give up, you know, man. All right, finally. People, thumbs up in the chat if you guys. Yes, thanks for calling. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, yo, Rico Dan, brother. Wow.
Big up Rico Dan. Welcome to Gooner TV. Share your thoughts with us, my bro.
Yo, first, not to big up your father, but you know, so I never know say your father. Dan.
Yeah, so Rico Dan, it was actually done on purpose because I know that he's really like super respected in the Jamaican space in terms of sports. And I want
he's a legend, brother. He's a legend, bro.
Yeah, he's a legend.
From he's a legend, man.
Of course, bro. He's a legend. That's why I miss him. I don't fall far. So I wanted people to know me for me first. And you know, some people that kind of got an idea. And I have had him on the show from time to time. But yeah, I tried to make my name out here without having him as, you know, any kind of, you know, because trust me, growing up in Jamaica with him as your father, it's like,
yeah,
it's a thing. Like you have to kind of, it's a certain standard of, you know. So I wanted on YouTube to make my own name, carve out my own little part, and then when people find out, they say, "Oh, it makes sense." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, do you think? What you have to say?
Yeah, brother. No, but that's how it should be done, you know, and respect that. But you know, say some man I got throw your opinion out of the door now, especially the JFF supported it.
Right.
With some man, JFF can never be wrong. But yeah, I was saying, you remember when I made the comment about the swag thing in relation to players? What I meant was an SOP. It is meaning when we could talk to a player, right? We don't feel like we have to kidnap them. When we say we go World Cup, the player can believe it's about your R, right? When they say we go World Cup and talk to a player, when they don't say, which was one of the great things about Captain Bird. You could have talked to a player and then feel like, oh, not only we are going to work, but we're going to mix out of the group. You know what I mean? He had a thing of him to sell the lineage to them. I saw somebody when he ended up playing for Ireland and he said it was really hard for him not to commit to Jamaica because after Captain Bird don't talk to him, he'll get the Prime Minister to talk to him. So what I meant is that they don't have to have this insecure energy. If you're confident in it, it's okay how you operate, the things where you're going to do, and that you're going to get to that compass. Why you feel like say you need to add something additional in it, you have to add in a fine print, say, but coming wholeheartedly to Jamaica and I will never switch back. When them come and you call them, the experience for them have will make them say, no, you don't want to know what else except here because it is professional and it is an environment where I can grow in and connect with the lineage. And the next thing is, when you put that in the I guess the fine print, would that be something that people would uphold? Is that a part of a film article where they would say, all right, you sign this thing so you cannot, even if you're not capped tied, you have to stick to Jamaica?
Even though you're not capped tied, you have to stick to Jamaica. Yeah, so to my knowledge, that was what they were trying to do, like force some kind of like yeah, it's like it's basically that wouldn't have been necessary for him to play a game.
Sure.
And that's the bottom line. Like if you have everything you need to call the player, use the player, then just do that. Then just do that. Why are you adding in other things? Right? And again, as you said, because they know they don't have certain things in place, certain procedures in place, certain orientation measures, they don't have those things really in place. So they're like, well, we know they're going to come and say, damn, this is not really the standard I would want. So let's make sure that they don't have a choice. But why think of it that way? Why not just try to provide something better?
Because they don't want to evolve, Jason, they don't want to change. And that's where I have an issue too. Like, at the end of the day, I want us to succeed, brother. But if a federation wants to evolve, in a sense, and I agree with most of the points their father make, but I will say this: I think England has changed a lot how they coach them players. A lot of it is just basically copying Spain and Netherlands and Belgium and France, but they might do a better job.
Well, Rico, Dan, all I would say to that point, I agree with you, but we didn't go for one of the coaches as a part of that change. We went for one that's a part of the old part.
The dinosaur age.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would say to that, Reaper. But that is a good point. I think that when you look at their youth teams, even it's a different level of football. They're developing different kind of footballers now. They're in the final. They knocked out Spain. They knocked out my team, Netherlands. So they are playing a different brand from 15, 20 years ago for sure. There's no question about it.
Jason, here we're getting booming now. You're so a far superior manager than we do.
Yep.
It's like chalk and cheese. This man is a forward thinker. To me, in my opinion, he's sort of a legendary mind in the Netherlands now, in a footballing philosophy. And Jason, my thing is if we have to start like group, we need to develop football, man. No more JFF. Take a thing of Guatemala, take a ban and rebuild from the south. But I have no faith in it. Yeah,
that's true. That's where Guatemala coming from. I mean, I've never been a proponent. I've never been a proponent. Let me be fair. I've never been a proponent of get a ban. I've never been that guy, right? So let me not go on like that's what I always would be on. But I don't know how else we're gonna get a really drastic change. Because I think that whatever success we have in this upcoming World Cup qualifiers, it's going to be a gift and a curse. Because if we have success, we're going to believe that we can do it the same way we've been doing it and have success. If we don't have success, here's the question, Rico, that I think people miss. What is success to the JFF brass and what is success to a fan?
Because success to them to me is selling players and being financially viable. To the fans, it is winning games, winning tournaments like the World Cup and consistently qualifying for World Cups.
Exactly. So when our ideal situations don't align, that's when you're going to have this kind of divide between the fan base and the JFF all the time, because some of the decisions they make are in line with where they want to do or what they deem to be success. And people like the fan base who just care about wins and losses and qualifications and things of that nature, we can't get with that. We can't get with that program. It's just not possible. We can't think that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
brother, at this point, I am nervous when I shouldn't be, because I grew up with Curacao Trinidad and Bermuda were really treating me nervous, but I am. And it's not because of the players, it's because of the federation and the coach. I think the coach needs to go. He's not the answer. I don't know what questions they're asking, but he's not the answer. And I am even willing to compromise with some of the things that the JFF does, right? If it made sense. For example, how can you pick 3 midfielders for a tournament? You know, anticipate that somebody's going to get injured, somebody is going to get suspended at some point because the midfielder, you're tackling and you're defending and you're attacking, right? Some of the things for them do just don't make no sense. Also, we look up one of the local players, and I'm not going to call his name because he does not deserve any unfair criticism. He didn't pick himself. But I was shocked. You see them pick a bunch of young players and say, yo, get around the professionals and see how them do them day to day. See how them prepare for games, see how them train. So that you can take it back to the league and raise the standard. I am willing, Jason, to compromise what I believe to allow that, right? But we look at one of the players and it's saying at 32, brothers.
32 years old.
We cannot accept that, brother. We cannot accept that. It's a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old. Fine, Jason, but some of the stuff with them always mix them politics and impact the national team. And it's tough because I don't want to call out any players. You get what I say? Because they're parents or their families.
And to be honest, them not put themselves on no team.
Exactly.
You know? So I mean, yes, you can be upset with the coach picking the player, but let's not turn that into a player beating session. The man not asking to get picked, them pick him.
Well, yeah, that is my problem, but I want us to go to the World Cup in Jason. Badly. But at the same time, as you say, it just like ingrained the philosophy at the JFF even more. So then I'm gonna say, yo, we're not going to change anything. See, we're gonna World Cup, everything is great. And then them now the thing say Canada will be back in qualifying for the next one. USA will be back in qualifying for the next one. Mexico will be back. How can we pop one of them countries then? So brother, I'm hopeful, but we won't forget until the JFF changes and the coach needs to go. There's like, brother, if the man just get the job. I have a discussion with my wife. I'm saying, oh, this is a bad idea. This man have the mind to carry Jamaica far. Right? I used a different word. And she said I was being mean, but I wasn't being mean. And it proved me right. He's just not that guy. He's not that man.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, there has to be a certain level of charisma, I think. And I think maybe at one point in his career he might have had it. But
no, Jason never have it. Never.
Well, look, I don't know. Because
it's a poor energy.
So you are much, yeah. So I get it. But
never had it.
I think that's something that they need to look at. Like, what kind of room command does he have? Like, does he have a presence? Like,
but Jason does not matter to a federation who wants to implement for them own ideas. Maybe they need him to be like that because they can push things funny.
That's why I mentioned those words specifically, because the less of that he has, the more likely he is to just roll along with whatever he's fed. Exactly.
Yeah, boy, Jason Cross. Me I hold out hope, but big up to you. Me never know say your father that big up to your father is a legend. Me have to give him flowers.
Yeah, man.
You know, last time I see him, I was a youth. I think, yeah, I know me a big man. So bless up to you, bless up to him, man. Me call back another time.
Yeah, man. Respect Rico Dan. Bless him. So that was Rico Dan, people. Always have some good takes. Hear him on multiple shows time to time. But yeah, glad that he's here tuned in and being a part of the show. Greatly appreciate it. Big up to Cranky Live in the building. You guys all know Cranky Live platform doing his thing. If you don't know it yet, go and drop a subscription over there as well. So JD in the building today as well. We Max It Football. Always have to give thanks when JD show up. JD don't show up to places, you know, people. He's a very what you call it now? A loner. You know, I call him a loner, right? When they stay to himself, you know, and the family, that is great. You should. The person they hired, we do the same thing, and we end up back right at square one. The people in place need to go, I think. Yeah, J-Ross, I don't know, man. Like, boy. I guess, you see, the thing is, J-Ross, you fire the coach, you get another coach. Will he really be the coach? You know, like, will he get to do everything he wants to do? That's my only thing. Maybe, you know, who knows? I mean, this September window will tell me a lot. The players that are selected, what the squad looks like. If what he said in that last press conference is really how he feels, like, you know, these players, maybe some of these players ain't as good as we think, and nobody's spot is secure, and you know, we're gonna have to step up recruitment even more, and all of those things. Rico has a Rico charge. Jason Gooner, big up one more failed campaign, boy. It not failed yet, but boy, looking away right now. Jason, our Armos girl is now at Arsenal officially. Article referred to as Jamaica International. That's positive. Wonderful. I had one. That's great news. So potentially next season, I had one. We can have our American right back and our Jamaican left back at Arsenal. That would be nice. So Taylor Hines gone to Arsenal, people. We love that. Champions League winner she gone to. Yes, and I claim the Arsenal Women's Champions League. So move. It's football, it's football. Please, Warren, as much as I'm venting, we must qualify, man. Yeah. Selective. In 2020, I started supporting England after a lifetime of supporting simple German football. This morning, I was 1 inch from writing what Mr. Hall said about England not winning since '66. My father was here, so I had to show up. Okay, so I buy pops bet JD there. So thank my pops for Remax it being in the building. Say I just don't trust him. Yeah, boy, J-Ross, I don't either, you know, but I don't trust the judgment of the people, them hiring the people. So it's like it's just a big distrust of everything at this point. The coach is still the coach is trash on his staff. It's a case of firing the coach or firing the coaching staff. Yeah, well, look, if well, we know one member of the coaching staff not going to move, you know, so that much we know, no matter what. That means for our core players who don't seem to be able to play tic-tac football. What happened to Kaheem Paris? He's doing great at his club in Europe. I wouldn't say he's doing great. He's doing good. I mean, people might be a little down on Paris because he was at a bigger club at the Dynamo Kiev, but he didn't quite get many chances for that club. In fact, like maybe a handful of appearances when he was there. And he's gone to Saba now in I think it's Azerbaijan, if I'm not mistaken. And he had an okay season. I mean, 1 goal, 2 assists. Played some Conference League qualifiers and had 1 goal, 1 assist there. And had 1 goal in the cup. So, I mean, he had an okay season. He's not in the starting 11 enough for me, for my liking. I would love for him to be in there more. But yeah, Kaheem Paris, 25. You know, I would like to think he's developed a bit more over the years, you know, playing overseas, learning from different coaches, different systems. So yeah, he's a player that, you know, he's just a forgotten one, you know, and we have so many of those. I've been informed by multiple JFF personnel that his contract allows him to pick his own team. He has no excuse. All right. Well, JFF, Cranky, you missed some of the show. And one of my bullet points for what went wrong and what's going wrong is misinformation. So all them JFF personnel, just know say they are specializers in misinformation, okay? But I know you're a person that does your checks, so you're not going to just run with the first thing. Cranky, but that make no sense. Same thing, we say the truth. Yeah, man, the truth. The answer is really bringing a balance of young players. Half the team need to be south of 25. Okay, so the balance needs to be less about address and more about age. All right, we can live with that. Garden is the eyes and ears of the JFF, so he hurting the progress of all coaches, question mark. I don't think you can level it only at Garden, because at the end of the day, you know, Garden is just a cog, you know. I don't think Garden holds that much power at the end of the day. He's reporting to other people. So it's those that he's reporting to you need to be thinking about. Coach failed, that's the end of story. You should get the hell out of Jamaica. We can do better. Mr. Speed, what the hell you're doing to Jamaica fan and the brand? Yeah, Tycoon, I heard your call yesterday to Cranky Show, and it's very damaging. Even Speed mentioned it on the show today. I heard. I guess he was on with Oral Tracy, saying that you know, sponsorships are backing out based on what happened in the Gold Cup and stuff. So yes, it is damaging for sure. I just don't know if, you know, well, I guess that's the heavy is the hand, heavy is the head, you know, because he's the coach, he's the man that starts with making the decisions, whether he's going with the status quo or going against it. He's the one making the final decision, or he should be. So the coach is English and politician. Hargrimson was different, as he did what was best for the team. Okay. So basically, McLaren is not doing the best for the team because he wants to stay in the good graces of everybody. Okay. Yeah, and that's how I feel too. I will not believe them. I will hear what they say, and I will try to get proof of what they say. That's how I will do it. And I have in the past, I think, been a bit too quick to take what's just being told to me, you know. So I've learned my lesson. Honestly, I've learned my lesson. I don't know why it took so long. Why would the new assistant coach not want to stay in the job? That's another bullet point that it's on my list of need more proof, or not need more proof, but just need more info, need more information. Yeah, more information needed, but that's something that I'm trying to tackle now yourself behind the scenes. Like, what really happened with the assistants? Well, I know what happened with one. Ole took him to Turkey, but what really happened with Paul Simpson? Like, what happened? Because he was such a big part of what I saw in those two SVG games. And then by the time we come back for Unity Cup, I don't see him again. So I just want to know, like, what really happened there. You know, why did that happen? So one thing for sure, you know, people, the way how these shows work, you know, sometimes when people watch the show, they'll either send me stuff or call me or something. So I'm sure now that I'm saying I'm looking for this information, people will start to reach out. That's how life goes. Me three, the JFF can't be trusted based on history. Yeah, man, it don't make no sense. Show a build-up of proof before I believe. Has Oral ever beat Speed, or is he like all local traditional journalists looking for favors? Have I ever heard Oral beat Speed? I mean, I would be the wrong person to ask, because I had a little stretch of time where I was listening to it like almost every day. And then after a while, I realized, like, better me just wait till the people and clip things and send me, or like I just see clips of it around the place, because I don't know. It's not that enjoyable to listen to. I don't know. It's just not that. I found myself like forcing myself to listen to it, and I was like, all right, why am I listening to this if I don't even like? I don't even want to really listen to it. You know, I was really listening to it to get, because I like to gauge the mindset of people and like where they. I wanted to try to figure out where they're coming from, because I think if I can understand where they're coming from a little more, maybe I can communicate to them better. That's the way I see it still. But sometimes it does make you upset when you listen to some of these things, man. The balance is a word keep kicking around. What is the balance people are talking? Is it having more JPL players added to the squad, or having the right players to have a complete team? Well, balance is different to different people. So the way, in McLaren's context, the way how I understood it was he wants to have a 15 to 16 core that, you know, these are the players that once they're available, fit, and performing, they're going to be a part of the team, right? And then there'll be a 5 to 6 or 7 that are, in his words, are for the balance of the team, whether that's getting some more youth that are more looking towards the future, or getting some more players that, you know, maybe need a little bit more development, but we're still putting them in and around to get that development. So that's what I think people keep talking about in the chat stats. Jason, if you were the coach, which players you keeping versus dumping going forward? Andre Moore, that's another show. We're going to do a drop, bench, and start episode. This episode, as I said, was just a lot of information that had been coming across the desk, and I wanted to compile it all and bring the ones that I felt comfortable talking about. You know, my dad was beating me in the beginning, so I'm walking on eggshells a bit, but you know, everybody have their own style. As I tell you all the while, you can't come here and expect to hear Elite Sports. You can't come here and expect to hear IMAX content, currently content. Jason Gooner is Jason Gooner, right? Even my father, my own blood. You see how different we bring our points across? This man is all systems go. This man is guns blazing, full throttle. You know, I have a slightly more measured approach, you know, a little bit of mom as well. So that's just the way it is, people. You can't expect everyone to sound the same. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, so JD is the long lost brother that, you know, he never got none of mom's side. You know, he just 100% the Rastaman side. That's it. And his head is bald and I have hair. It make sense, people. Make it make sense. It has to be studied, as the other YouTuber said. Oral call Speed, the best football mind on the island this morning. Wow. Glazing. Is he? You think, people, you guys think Rudolph Speed is the best football mind in Jamaica right now? But yeah, Andre Moore. I'm going to write this down, to be honest, because I do want to do a show about this, you know. Start, bench, drop. We're going to have a start, bench, drop episode. And if my father is on it, we won't have a team, because it sounds like I'm going to drop every single player. Listening oral is a strain on your brain cells. The balance not for overseas players. What kind of balance? Only balance position players, that when there's a sub, there's no drop up. Thank you. Thank you. Capo, it's my father. Would you be surprised? For real. That sounds like him get a brown paper bag talk. Chaja. Zebeva dead with laugh. Nope, not even close. Just the best in the system that they control. Okay. Sheridan say absolutely not. Oral drunken soup. Yes, man, manipulate the entire system. It seems like the coach is just waiting for the recruitments to start working. That's all he talks about. Maybe he thinks it makes no sense if the actual players will not play in the end. Maybe. Speed not even on Neville Bell level. I've always thought Neville Bell is a brilliant coach in mind, you know, but I just know that from people that know him personally, that I know, he just was never, he just don't really want to be in. I think if the JFF wasn't the way it was, he might consider coaching a national team or even the youth, because I think he should coach a youth team personally. But I don't know, man. I don't think he likes, he don't want to get into the politics of it, basically. He would rather just coach him club side and coach Georges, and, you know, him have more control over everything. And, you know, I think he's just happier with that. He's more like a better scammer mind. Wow. Best football mind, but can't win against an MLS team. Don't make me puke. We don't have a lot of options, says Conrad Smith. Remember, Jason, we have fully certified coaches in the academies, way higher certification. Facts. I think if he wanted to, I would let Andre Virtue coach the youth teams. But I know that's not really where his mindset is. But that dude, very good football mind. Great education, both football education and formal education. You know, Radamarcus isn't Jamaican, but the work I see him doing with what name there, Kingston Football Academy, the work I saw him doing with Arnett as well, because to me, Arnett played better football last year when he was involved in the setup still. So yeah, I would say those two are ones that come to mind right away. Neville Bell is another one, but I don't know, like at this point in Neville Bell's career, is he really, like he's probably looking to kind of ease his way out of things. I mean, he's been around for a long time at this point, Not saying he couldn't still do it, but I just don't know if he have the motivation now. Speed thinks he is. Wasn't Bell coaching high school? Yeah, he still coach high school. Don't like to travel like Cranky. Oh, that too. Okay. Okay. I know it was just a lot of time he don't want to deal with the politics and stuff. I think he never liked traveling. Okay. So people corroborating that. So that's another one. They're the ones building these young players we all love. Andre would change Jamaica. I agree. Andre Virtue, what he's been able to do at Ballers now, the reputation that he's been able to build. I wouldn't be surprised if more players just leaving Ballers and going overseas to play for clubs, and just not, One thing with Andre that I respect though, it doesn't seem like he has much of an emphasis on what they do outside of with him. So if you're a Ballers academy player and you still want to go play for Arnett or play for whoever you want to play for, it's no problem. If you want to play for a Premier League side, if you want to play for high school, no problem. I'm still going to develop it just the same. I love that about him. Clyde Jardine has to be in the conversation. In your conversation, because your view, boss. Daddy might agree with you still, because I know Jardine and my father is I don't know if they're friends, but I know he knows him. Jason, what should be the requirement for a national team coach when you only have the players like 3 days before a game? Is it coach or players win international games? Or you judge an international coach? Well, Adelo, it's a difficult situation for the coaches in an international game, that has to be said. But there's too much evidence around the world of coaches having 3 days with teams, and their style of play, their system is clear when you watch them play. So I think both factions have to be held accountable, the players and the coaches. But me, as somebody who watches the game from a tactical point of view, I can come and tell you guys what went wrong, or I can come and say this is what Jamaica need to watch out for from the other team, and we're not able to see that those things are going to happen, and we can't execute a game plan to stop those things. Then I have to say that the coach and his staff is not doing their jobs, because I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm just watching the game and seeing some things and seeing tendencies, and I'm coming up with a strategy that could work. And I mentioned these things, and I said they're gonna kill us with a slow build. Once their fullbacks get high up the park, they're going to play long diagonals to them, and then the players, the wide player initially will cut into the half space on both sides, and they'll have an overload for that wing back if our players don't stay with the fullbacks when they push up. And of course, Gray and Bailey don't do that. So, I mean, it's on everybody, really, Odelo. And I think we should not let the fact that the coaches only have 3 days with the players stop anything, because with the way our communication works now, if I had an international team to coach, I know at least, I don't know, once a week when we're not in camp, I want just 20 minutes on Zoom with them. Zoom call, I pull up a tactical pad, show them a few things. Nothing too crazy, because obviously they're in their teams and whatever. Now, it would be hard to coordinate that because everybody's all over the world, but I would figure out a fucking way. I mean, that's what you do. You figure out a fucking way. Simple. Sorry, my language. Football has grown. Don't let us fool ourselves. So we'll see a mutiny. JFF must stop this great talent and have the upside to be an elite player. Did we say the same for Grimm? People were saying the same for Tapper at some point. I just think people like to say that when they don't like what a coach is doing. But Grimm had a clear style. It was obvious. It was obvious. Defense first, counter-attacking, emphasis on the wing. Counter-attacking wing play with an emphasis on defending. Low block to mid block. It's clear as day. Because I remember when people used to say that about Grimm, him don't have a style, him don't have a style. I said he has a style. You guys just don't like his style. That's the truth. Not that he didn't have a style. You guys just didn't resonate with the style he had. And Dad mentioned that a little bit when he said maybe in recruitment we have to start to think more about what's the way we want to play, as opposed to just saying this guy play here, let's get him. You know, like there has to be more strategy involved with the recruitment. You can't just get players. Get right, drop a super chat. Respect, bro. So yo, all right, we're gonna close off the show. I'm gonna close off the show with just basically saying, you know, what I think are some of the things that we can do moving forward that I think will help us out. So one of the first things I think we can do, people, as fans, as YouTube creators, as general, just the general public that's in tune with Jamaican football, the Reggae Boys, the Reggae Girls, we need to have more accountability for even ourselves, me included, right? So I can't come on here, turn on my camera, say a bunch of things, and don't do any work. Don't check, don't call people, don't say, hey, how this go? Is this correct? You know, can you get me in touch with so and so I can find something out? There's a reason why I think a lot of times maybe I don't have the same amount of views live as some other people. My shows typically like 2, 3, 4 days later, even weeks later, people still watching them. You know why? Because the word will probably get around that, yo, you know, this guy, you can tell from how he's talking and what he's saying, and he's actually done a little bit of work to bring you some content. So accountability for our fans in terms of, you know, don't let people just say anything and there's no challenging to people, right? So let's hold each other accountable as YouTube creators, as fans, and also towards the JFF as well. I'm talking to you now as well. Hold yourselves accountable as well. You know, even if you believe the way you're doing things is the right way, please don't get to that result by using misinformation or, you know, planting things out there for people to run with. Just let the thing, just have a little bit more openness about how you want to do things, and maybe it will be more palatable to the fans, you know. But if we try to figure out, yo, football from yard, big up, you know. I know you don't always do the programs, but I've always liked the way you do your player ratings and stuff, bro. So I don't know if you have an IG or something, but just reach out to me, bro, because I would want to, yeah. I think some kind of way, like my father knows something, or some kind of way I think I know you, you know, bro. Like we don't know each other personally, but I feel like we know mutual people. So Jason Gooner TV and IG, bro. Just link me, follow me, and yeah, make the link, bro. Come like your content. I figured one of these days I would see in the comment section, you know, John Herdman, a proven CONCACAF coach with a strong drone Herdman. That's hilarious. A strong anti-corruption stance is the ideal available choice to lead the Reggae Boys and address Jamaica's football management issues. JG, I don't have the numbers, but our majority of the teams in CONCACAF which are winning have their coaches been in their program longer than Steve McLaren. Is the chopping every 6 months the bigger problem? So we can look at that. So Pochettino is probably the only other one that's been there around the same time, right? And then you have who else? So Panama coach been there forever. Costa Rica coach Miguel Herrera. How long has it really been for him? Let me see. Miguel Herrera, who used to coach Mexico, who we know. But let me just see when he actually took the job with yeah, so it was around January of this year. Around January of this year, he would have gotten the job with Costa Rica. So that's pretty much, you know, after the Nations League cycle would have ended, when they got knocked out at the quarterfinals and didn't make it to the semi. They did away with the previous manager and got him. So he's only managed like 6 games so far, Herrera. So they just got Herrera. McLaren is what, last September. Pochettino is around that same time. Who else is there? Jesse Marsh is just the other day. He's been there what, like around the same time as McLaren? I think it's about the same, right? Yeah, spell the man name wrong. I check when Jesse Marsh was hired people. I think, wait, let me check in the chat. 'Cause Africans there in probably 30. You guys, please look up John Herdman. Yeah, man, we know him, man. Drone Herdman. I disagree with the changing coaches all the time. Grim was 1 year and 6 months, and now this man is 1 year. We need stability. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we just need the coaches to do the damn right thing, so we don't feel like we want to fire them every damn 5 minutes, you know? Look into John Herdman, guys. He's the kind of coach we need. Yeah, he's a no-nonsense coach. I think he has the charisma as well. I think he'll command the dressing room as well in terms of how he carry himself and stuff. But yeah, don't know if he's interested. Or there's always an administrator side, irrespective of their bungles, whether it's J3s or JFF. Yeah, he seems to typically side with the powers and not the individuals. Is the coach and his coaching staff analyzing the games properly? It doesn't seem like they tactically prepare for their opponents. Well, let the coach tell it, you know. As for I thought they had their guy there, but he's with his MLS team right now. So, you know, the one who would be doing that mostly, Kyle, he's not there. They brought a guy from Mount Pleasant there, but I mean, you know, he probably got paid on a game-to-game or a per diem, or I don't know how they would have paid him, but he's not like a full-fledged employee at the JFF to my knowledge. So, I always just put some things together. Respect El Meeks for the super chat as well. £5 on the board. Get right. Respect for the 2 super chats as well, people. We're going to sign off now. So anybody want to show them respect in the form of a super chat, you can do so. Also, people, consider hitting the join button. It's $1.99 a month. I'm going to wait until the membership get to a certain level. Then we'll start to bring some members-only content where we can really blaze some super fire. Where you know, the family alone can hear. You know them way there, the family meeting them have to get a little more private as we move along. If no past player coaching this team is a waste of time. Okay. Reggae Toys. Oh, that was Eddie Gooner that did that one. Just came in as well. Yeah, the Costa Rica coach, exactly. And I'm speaking more towards the middle of the table, not the USA or Mexico who have solid foundations, but the Panama and the Guatemala. Well, Panama coach been there forever. I think Tena has been there not so long, you know. Tena, Guatemala's coach. I don't think he was coaching them when we played them like 2 years ago. I don't think. Let me double check. So he's been the coach 13 games. So yeah, him just start. Oh, wait, never mind. So actually, that's not true. It's 51 games for Guatemala. So he's been there since 21. So he's been there. So Tena was the coach back then when we played him the last time. So my bad, people. I know Advocate been at Curacao for a while. Trinidad, of course, you know, Dwight just got there. Try to understand it during recent elections. This is like AI take over the internet and lock out from incursion or intervention. That is JFF structure. Bless up, Martin. Hope all is well. John Herdman led Canada's men's to the 2022 World Cup, won Olympic bronzes with the women's team in 12 and 16, and is known for integrity. Ideal for Reggae Boyz. But might need him for the girls because, trust me, respect to We Max It Football gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Greatly appreciate that, my bro. We don't know who the lucky recipients of that are, but we greatly appreciate that. Our system outdated. If the coach don't have a tablet, that means we probably don't have any analytics team. No one breaking down video, relay, replay tapes, unorganized and poorly constructed. Yep. Thanks, Jeremy Lee. Hey, me try calling Jeremy, but me not take no more call now. Me lock off the stream. But you can't say me never try call. I don't think Herdman can handle lack of professionalism in front of the federation. Yeah, I don't think he would last very long. He would start cuss. He looks Speed will not fire the coaching staff. He will just hire assistant coach, it seems. Well, look, Tycoon, we saw a little bit better with the assistant coach Simpson that time, you know. So maybe McLaren just does need the help. I mean, he seems to be forgetting things. Maybe somebody that will help him say, hey, you said this yesterday, you know. Make sure you said this today. McLaren look too comfortable as if he knows his job is secure. He's a no-nonsense person. So Get Right is saying, bro, John Herdman is ideal. Him not saying nothing else. I actually like John Herdman, you know. I was just surprised that the only thing with John Herdman that we never like, the man try the man try play the same way with Canada, no matter what going on in the game, like ever. Like, the man never change. And actually, it's a part of the reason why I thought Jesse Marsh would also have issues, but them just outrunning and overrunning teams, brother. But even Jesse Marsh looked like him learned from him Leeds time too. Because in the Curacao game, I see him change a little bit when the game was getting a little, sticky for them. I see him start to kind of relax, impress a little and try to get the team shape right, which he wasn't doing before. We tried pass player as coach before and we still didn't get anywhere. Grimmy was getting the job done. Jesse Marsh was hired in 2024. Yep. That appears to be the problem with why majorities. So 5 more get gift. Yo, JD, respect, bro. Respect. So that's 10 memberships gifted to the channel by We Maxi Football. We appreciate every last one of those. That appears to be the problem why minorities, the mid-tier teams, are starting to catch us. No stability with players or coaching. No membership for me, JD. You have a channel for him to give memberships to? Jano, the man gone on a gifting spree, a Santa Claus. You clearly were not familiar with Canada football pre-heard, man. I think you must be talking to Get Right with that one there. I just heard today on this stream that it's just last November. It's not so long. But did he coach them previous to that too, or no? Or was just like there as an advisor type of thing? Yes, where is that assistant coach? Apparently USA have him now, according to what Marlon said it, and they said that Speed said that on the radio today. I didn't even know that, people. I don't know how the gifting thing work, People just get it, bro. I don't know. It's a Man United fan from Beckham times, say respect. So I don't know who actually get it, Yeah, man, JD do a good thing, bro. Yeah, it's automatic. I don't think him can actually like give it to people. And Dr. Dan, somebody like you for just get your membership, bro. Cause you actually there talk all the while. Yeah, man, I respect for true, man. Don't matter who the coach is, we need a process. We want to skip the line. Okay. Process. USA, Jaja, what wrong with them? Yeah, man, them can't just left with, man. Cause that see, boy, that's rough. Cause I guess I don't know. I mean, them have Haji, right? But who else? Anthony Robinson. I guess I have a little link to some of the players them. Without investing in coaching education, Ireland will continue to go nowhere. Well, they're trying to do that now, Rob Smith. So hopefully we don't try to skip the line with the coach them either. I will let them actually develop and then go get jobs and develop more. And stop just saying them have a license now, so them ready. No, go and put your license to use. Marsh is the best thing ever happened to Canada, says Chorus. It's also unprofessional for Speed to go on interviews and the coach. Facts. The assistant coach looks serious to me. I may see it in one match. Yeah, for sure. The one game I see him get more things to do. And they attack and him look like him really on it, man. Don't need no membership. Give it up. Juras get it? Can't Juras get it? Juras would have just buy one. Jason Gooner TV, we were a mess. Still a mess, but cleaning up slowly. Herdman to Marsh, but really, Kevin Blue have been slowly cleaning up the federation, and the top still need to fix grassroots. I would say the grassroots looking a little better based on how I see the youth teams looking, but it's really more on the women's side. I don't think the boys kind of where I think you would want them to be. You've said that you wanted members only shows, so I gave you what you wanted. LOL. Respect. I did say that. This whole thing looks like an international embarrassment. BBGN, bring back Grimmy now. Where my memberships there, LOL. Yo, it does randomly give people, bro. Erdman is what Jamaica need. He's strict, JFF is corrupt. So get right. Say, yo, man, nah, stop preaching, All right, so people, seriously, I'm not tired no more. I'm gone. I don't eat nothing from earlier today, so I'm gonna deal with myself. My hunger levels need to decrease. And Man City about to play now. So yeah, I was gonna do a watch along for the Juve game, but I'm gonna give you two a rest for now. Who playing tonight? Maybe I'll do the game tonight. I was hoping the Juve game would have been tonight, you know. Al Hilal, Pachuca, Salzburg, and Real Madrid. Channel Star. Really, the game I would have want to do, you know, man. Juve and Man City, you know. But do a Real Madrid game already. We'll see, people. If I feel up to it, I do a live tonight. But this could be it. What I'm definitely going to do though is I'm gonna edit out the part where Dad was on and just put that out as a shorter video, because he did have some points that I don't want to get lost inside the entirety of the video. So look out for that shortened version with just the part with, as the chat call him and as me call him too, the legend Michael Hall came on and dropped his thoughts on the current state of the team and what he thinks. But yeah, people, big up to each and every one of you who turned up. We really do appreciate it. We got up over 100 people live. We always love to see that happen. Let me check the likes, because as JD said, me not beg the likes, you know, but I mean, me not want them people. All right, 118 likes. You know, do me a solid. We really do appreciate that. Forget over the 100. Thanks again to JD for gifting the 15 members to the channel. That's greatly appreciated. Get it right with 2 super chats, and we'll not forget Herdman. We know get right. We will hopefully, maybe if we get him, we can get right, but we're not sure yet. El Meeks, big up and thanks again for the £5, and thanks for the compliment saying it was a great stream. People, thanks so much for tuning in. It was my pleasure to bring it. I will be in the A for Miami PSG Sunday. Mad thing. I don't think I'll be in Atlanta that day, because actually I live outside Atlanta, in south of Atlanta, but I don't think we're heading there this weekend. But that is the game that I had penciled, because I figured it would either be PSG. I figured PSG would make it, because I saw that game was going to be the winner of Group B, and I figured PSG would win the group. I wasn't sure if it would be Miami, but yeah, the fact that it's Miami is even bigger. You want to see the part with M Hall? Well, it's in this video, you know. It's in this video, Jagarns. It's in this video. So I'm going to literally chop up that part and just put it out as a shorter video, so that people can hear his part and not have to watch the whole entire video if they don't want to watch the whole entire video, is it? So yeah, I will do some editing and put that out, people, just as a smaller version video. And yeah, up the like some more, people. Maybe we can get up to the 150 over time. But thanks again for the support, people. At the end of these programs, you always hear me say this. I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And we're not even going to say, come on, you Reggae Boyz. We're going to say, come on, JFF. Do the right thing.